I don't know why people not getting notifications though. Okay, there it is. Click live. I'm like, because I know I just upgraded it. Thanks. Did y'all see it on there, Brother Daniel, Sister Mary Houston? Y'all see it on there now? Because I just got the notification. Okay, all praise. Praise Shalom, 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 Brother Yaakov, Officer Yaakov, Memphis Battle Axes, Shalom family. Shalom. All praise. That move was tripping. We had to go in there. I didn't press live. So bear with us. Like we were saying, one of the main things that is a misconception about Christians is that they don't understand the dispersed or the diaspora. Going into the same word, the dispersed among Israel. That was one of the curses that fell upon the children of Israel by us breaking God's commandments. Most High God said he was going to scatter us. And how did he scatter us? He scattered us by way of slavery, by way of slave ships. That's how we got to these four corners of the earth. Even going into the transatlantic slave trade in 1619, you had 1492 with Christopher Columbus when they sailed over here. They took Issachar and Gad over to Portugal and to Spain in the captivity. Then you have the sub-Sahara slave trade, which is the so-called established by the Ishmaelites, or who we know today as the so-called Arabs. You know, they had us in slavery. Then you had East Indians putting our people on the east coast of Africa into slavery as well. So we're scattered all over in China and Japan. You had black samurais. So we're scattered to the four corners of the earth. Let's go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. Let's get that. Salaki, we'll get that and come back. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64, because guess what? These are part of the curses that happened and fell upon us when we didn't keep God's commandments. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So for breaking God's commandments, the Most High God did what? He scattered us by way of slave ships, by way of slavery. I'm going to read this again from the top. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. Meaning, when it says all people, that's what it means. Like we was just talking about. Black people in China. You got black people in China, Japan. Black people in Australia. You got black people in East India. You got black people in Pakistan. You got black people in Iran. They call them the Afro-Iranians. You go and look up these places where our people are hid in the ghettos and in the slums. That's where you'll find our people. Our people that's in Brazil in the slums. You have our people that's in Canada in the slums. It's the same song everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you'll see our people in those neighborhoods and in those ghettos. Like I say, even when you look up the word ghetto, you know, I know my wife had been making shirts for brothers and sisters saying a dwelling place of the Jews. You know, we know in real, or the Jewish people today, they not in no damn ghettos. Come on, man. They rule everything. They're the ones that's benefiting off of the ghettos. That's who real Jews have to basically pay their rent to, man. You know, so we have to stop this nonsense and just literally go precept upon precept. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even to the other, meaning from the eastern hemisphere to the western hemisphere. That's why brothers and sisters must get into geography. When you get into geography and to cartology, meaning map making and understanding maps, these things also help you to better understand the scriptures. Because a lot of time Christianity has trained our people just to think that Rome and the places of Ephesus and the places of Galatia is only where white people live. No, it was the Israelites scattered in those places as well. What they would call today Asia Minor, or modern day today Turkey. It says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even to the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. The wood makes reference to what? To Christianity, which is going into the cross. And then we have the stone going into what? Islam, which is going into the cobblestone. Those are just two of the biggest religions that our people are in: blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Shalom, shalom, sisters in the cook about Israel. How you doing, sis? It says, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease. Meaning, when the Most High God scatters among these other nations, guess what? They will go into oppress us. Finding no ease, meaning what? We'll be at the bottom of society when we get to those places. We'll be persecuted as a nation of people, and we'll be oppressed as a nation of people. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Sister Mariah. Shalom, I am redeemed 777. Shalom, Susanna Israel. Shalom, shalom, Sister Aday. How you doing, sis? Vince Sartoriano, you can go to hell. We ain't speaking to you. But this is what this is going into. We're the ones that scattered into these places, into these different areas. Let's get some more. Well, now let's keep reading. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease. Meaning our people are having a hard time over here. What you think they're doing over there? You had black people that was in Ukraine. And remember, when we seen those scenes, they wasn't letting no black people do what? Get on those trains when they was trying to do what? Get those people up out of there, man. You seeing those things. Like we said, this is not us making these things up. We're literally seeing it in real time because of the Most High God has advanced technology. Shalom, shalom, Sister Genesis. He has advanced technology so we can see these curses playing out in real time. We literally seeing them put white men, white women, and children on those trains and one putting the black people over there. You know, so we can clearly see that it's a difference. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shalt the sole of thy feet have rest. Meaning what? We'll be constantly working day and night just to make enough to get above water. We're barely making enough to keep our heads right above water, brothers and sisters, man. That's what it means to have no ease on our feet. We're constantly on our feet, man. Working 10, 12, 14-hour shifts just to make enough, just to pay the bills, just to get by. It says, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart. Meaning when we're amongst these nations, scattered amongst these nations of people, guess what? He's given us there a trembling of heart. That's why we always say, you can have license, registration, everything in order, no tickets. But when you see those headlights, hey, brothers instantly tense up, because you never know. That could be a day that you would end, your life could be ended. You know, that's what trembling of heart is going into. It says, and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Meaning what? We see the oppression that our people constantly go through. And guess what? We have sorrow of eyes and of our mind, because we like, why is this steady happening to us? Israelites now, we know better because we understand the curses. So as we see these things happening to our people, like prime example with the Jacksonville shooting, how that Edomite came up in that Dollar General and gunned down those 3 black people. Then wrote a manifesto saying how much he hated black people. Wait a minute, it's all other races on the planet Earth. Why he didn't write a manifesto talking about them? He was a so-called proclaimed Nazi. Nazis hate everybody. Why didn't he put those in the manifesto? Then even weeks before, you had those group of officers basically terrorize and sexually assault 2 black men. I mean, the list goes on and on, brothers and sisters, man. When are we going to wake the hell up and understand that these curses are real, man? These things are real, man. And even like he's putting it in there, like you say, not real. How is that not real when you can literally pull these things up and see it in real time? You know, this is how we know that, guess what? He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, because they the only one that deny facts that are right in front of them. Shalom, shalom. Brother Tazadok Yasharala. Shalom, shalom. Jasmine Warren. How y'all doing, man, brothers and sisters that's on Facebook? We see these things playing out in real time. Let's get some more. Showing that what? That's part of the curses that will be what? Dispersed to many of these places, man. Go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4 and verse 27. And it reads, and the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whether the Lord shall leave you. And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. So the Most High God is showing us, if we get amongst these other nations and wake up and start to repent, then the Most High God will start to deal with us. And we can see these things, how he's raising up these numerous amounts of camps, man. You had never seen so many young black and Hispanic men come together, and righteousness is driving the world crazy, and they can't take it. They always want to tell us to pull up ourselves by our bootstraps. And guess what? Be out there and try to get our communities in order. Well, that's exactly what we're doing. And they hate it. That lets you know they really don't want us doing that, man. They don't want us doing those things, man. Because if we was hooting and hollering, talking about Christianity, God loves everybody, join everybody in, that makes us not want to care for our own people. That's literally what Christianity does to our people. It makes you care about the other nations, and it makes you hate your own nation, because they constantly teach you what? Love your enemy. That's not the true understanding of Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. The enemies that it's talking about is the enemies of your own people, man. That's who that's talking about. Let's prove that. Brothers and sisters, got any questions? Click the link. We got scoffers. Click the link, man. I'll log you in here. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 23. Let's see what enemy that was talking about, man. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Meaning, if you have a brother that's in your nation or in your tribe and y'all don't get along together, if you see his ox or his ass going astray, the Bible says you must surely bring it back to him. Meaning, I don't care how you feel about this brother, you're still commanded to what? Show brotherly love. This is what Christ was breaking down in Matthew chapter 5, verse 44, but he made it plain. Verse 5, if thou see the ass of him that hated thee lying under his burden, and wouldst forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help him. Meaning, if you see a brother that you hate and y'all just don't get along, if you see him catching burdens, if you see him needing a tire change, you're commanded to help them, man. That's what stops black on black crime, Hispanic on black crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, man. These laws are put in place for what? For the betterment of our nation. You seeing sisters that you don't get along with, and that sister needs some help. Sisters, y'all commanded to help that sister, man. Whether you want to or not, man. Because guess what? Most High God got that angel that's watching over you that's going to what? That will judge you if you're not keeping these commandments. Especially if you're what? If you're not... Especially if you're if you know the truth. Now, Vince, you're not my neighbor. We know that. So you don't even have to say that. We know that. We know that you are our enemy, man. Plain and simple, man. Verse 5, if thou see the ass of him that hated thee lying under his burden, and wouldst forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. Let's see where Christ was pulling this. This is what Christ was saying. Make sure y'all precept this, man. Because I was dealing with the brother, Christian brother. He don't understand this, literally wanted to say it verbatim. Brother, the Bible ain't going to say it how you wanted to say it. You have to get the understanding by what? By keeping the commandments, man. Brother Jeremy, hey, I'm going to tell you, check the drive to Abilene. If you truly serious about this truth, brother, you have to do what you have to do. We have brothers and sisters that take 3-hour drives, Brother Jeremy, to do what? Come up here and join camps, man. Well, brothers Brother Daniel and his family come up from time to time. We have Sister Mary Houston, Sister Odetta and her daughter come up. So you have to do what you have to do, brother, to guess what? To get this truth, man. I got you, Malek second. I know he was asking about explaining Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 15. I want to get this right quick. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 44. I'm going to start at verse 43. Ye have heard that it had been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. Making reference back to what? To what we literally just read. But Christ was what? Giving us a better understanding. When it talks about love your neighbor and hate your enemy, it's going into what? Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. That's literally what that is going into. And I'm going to do a class on it as well. It says, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. Now, is it talking about the other nations? No, it is not talking about the other nations. And we can prove that. Hold that precept. Let's get an example. Brothers and sisters should know this example. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 29. Let's get an example. Let's get an example. Because what? Saul hated David. Because the Most High God was dealing with him on another level. He hated that. But guess what? David never showed that same hatred for Saul because he was what? He was actually keeping the commandments. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 28. And Saul saw and knew that the Lord was with David and that Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him. And Saul was yet the more afraid of David. And Saul became David's enemy continually. They were enemies. But did King David had an opportunity to do what? To kill Saul. That's why you have to have all these precepts to link up the understanding. You have to have Exodus chapter 23, verse 4 and 5. You have to have Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. You have to have 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 28. Now you also have to have 1 Samuel chapter 24 and verse, let's start at number 4. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 24 and verse 4. And the men of David said unto him, behold, Salakia, the day of which the Lord said unto thee, behold, I will deliver thine enemy into thine hand, that thou mayest do to him as it shall seem good unto thee. Meaning what? The Most High God gave King David an opportunity to kill Saul, man. He gave him that opportunity. Then David arose and cut off the skirt of Saul's robe privately. Meaning what? David shows Saul that he had an opportunity to kill him. Verse 5. And it came to pass afterward that David's heart smote him because he had cut off Saul's skirt. David understood what he could have done, man. That's why when you treat your brother or your sister bad, knowing that they're Israelites, knowing that you're of your race of people, it should make you feel bad, man. It should make you sick to your damn stomach. And if brothers and sisters don't feel that particular type of way, you got Satan on you, man. You got the devil on you. And we just gonna say it plain, man. If you're trying to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and can't get along with your brother or your sister and not trying to help them in times of need, there's something wrong with you, man. That's why the Most High God gave us these laws so we can learn to love one another. We love Esau dirty damn draws, but you can't love your brother when he step on them damn Jordans. I mean, it's wicked as hell. So we see that what? That King David was keeping the commandments. Verse 6, and he said unto his men, the Lord forbid that I should do this thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch forth my hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord. So David did what? Put his feelings to the side and applied God's commandments, man. That's what we must do as a nation of people, man. Put the emotions, put the feelings to the side, and just literally do what the Bible is telling us to do. Let's go back up. I hope brothers and sisters got those precepts. I know Malik second asked, can we explain Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15? Let's get it. Because remember, we take questions while I'm going into the dispersed and the diaspora. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15. And it reads, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. So the context is going into what? Multiple wives. A brother in those days had multiple wives. He may have loved one wife more than he loved the other. In this case, he loved one wife and he hated the other wife. Maybe because the other wife was out of order. Who knows? But it's giving us a scenario, also showing us that we can have multiple wives. But like we teach brothers and sisters in the battle axes, just because it's lawful doesn't mean that it's expedient for you to have multiple wives. We barely can take care of our damn self. It says, beloved and the hated. Start from verse 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and the firstborn son be hers that was hated. So it's giving you a scenario. The firstborn son was the one of the one wife that he hated. It says, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he had, meaning he died and he's passing on his inheritance, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn, meaning the wife that he loved was the second wife. And he had children, he had the second child with her, meaning you can't put that your secondborn ahead of the firstborn because you don't like his mother. This is what this is saying. No, you're commanded to give the firstborn of the wife that you hated the inheritance. That's all that this is saying. It says, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he had, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So that's all that's going into, brother Malek. Mariah, when the Bible says don't stand idly by while human life is in danger, is he talking about all people or our people? It's solely talking about our people, sis. But you have to literally give me that precept, sis, on what you're talking about. Give me that precept, sis. Because like we say, we want to make sure that we do all things in decency and in order. Because if we don't have a precept, we want to make sure that we're getting the full context of the scriptures. I mean, Vince, if we Hamites, why you on here wasting your time? I mean, it makes no sense. Let us be Hamites if we are Hamites. So I am redeemed 777. My own cousin is my direct competition and hates me with a passion. Is really real. That's right. But like you say, I am redeemed. You're commanded to do what? To still love your cousin, man. You have to understand that our people are lost. And our people are bugged out. Malik, was you trying to click the link or what? Because I saw your question. Let me know if you understand that, Malik second. Make sure. That's right. I am redeemed, but I'm still going to help her pay her car note because she's not working. And even with that, I'm going to tell you that comes with understanding too. I am redeemed. Because the Bible does say if she's not trying to get this truth, we help our people to the best of our abilities, but the Bible is kind of strict on people we can and cannot help, man. The Most High God is no joke when it comes to that, because I remember when I came into the truth, happy, full of zeal. So I seen my people and I just wanted to help everybody. The Bible says, know to whom you're doing good to, man. You want to know, because you could be helping people that's going to take your help or your compassion for weakness. So you want to make sure that you know who you are helping, man. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 1. I want you to write this down. I am redeemed, and kind of go through these things. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it, so shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits. Verse number 2, do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. If not from him, yet from the Most High. Meaning, if you're helping the godly man, the man that is keeping God's commandments, if that brother don't pay you back, the Most High God says he will pay you back. And ain't nothing like paying back from the Most High, man. Most High God may pay you back 1,000-fold. So it's very pivotal that we do always help brothers and sisters that are what? That is the godly brother or godly sister. That's the point. That's the understanding. Jump down to verse 4. Give to the godly man and help not a sinner. Let me read it again. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 4. Give to the godly man and help not a sinner. So the Bible is clear on those things. Now, even within that, it comes with understanding. You want to make sure that you try to teach them the truth or let them know about the truth. And if they just all out wicked and reject the Bible, where you have to learn to apply these scriptures. Not saying that it's going to be easy. Verse 5, do well unto him that is lowly. The lowly that is talking about is the godly man or the godly one. Meaning what? When they fall on hard terms, we're commanded to help them. Because even brothers and sisters that keep the commandments fall on hard times, man. It is what it is. It says, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, or else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him. So the Most High God saying, if you helping people that you know reject the Bible, you're going to receive twice as much evil. So these things are pivotal for our people to do what? To be keeping, man. So you can what? So it can go well with you. Yeah, that's right, Brother Yaakov. Mursada Quados, what Matthew 13:16 means. Let's get it right quick. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 13. Let's say the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 16. And it reads, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. It says, for verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. So when Christ is breaking this down, when we start up at verse 10, let's get the point. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? So the disciples wanted to know why Christ always taught in parables. Parables are illustrated stories where Christ is comparing one thing to another. Many of the things that Christ compared to was going into a similitude for the Israelites, where he compared the Samaritan, the good Samaritan, or where in this parable he's going into the sower. Many parables that Christ went into were illustrated stories about the Israelites. Verse 11, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Meaning what? Everybody's not meant to have the understanding of the Bible. The wicked of our people, the 2/3 of our people, they won't understand the Bible. Esau, Vince, he's not going to understand it. That's why he's constantly scoffing at us in here. We can read things plain as day, but he'll still constantly go at us and reject the Bible. He think he's rejecting us, but he's rejecting the scriptures. So the Bible is saying that, guess what? Everybody won't be able to understand these breakdowns of these parables. Hell, they won't even understand the simplest commandments. Where you read in 1 John 5 and 3, where it tells you what love is. We literally say and quote that precept to Christians and ask them, what is love? Well, love is what you feel. Love is loving God, brother. We literally just showed you how you love God. Loving God is what? The keeping of his commandments. Plain and simple. It says, let's jump back down. So now we have the understanding what that's talking about is what? Let's jump back down to verse 16. But blessed are your eyes. Whose eyes? The disciples that Christ was teaching, because they understood these parables. Because he was what? He was breaking it down to them. And even for our people today, we understand who the blessed is. We understand who the meek is. We understand who the poor is according to the scriptures. We understood who Christ came and died for when you read Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. It's not for everybody. And let's prove that, man, because we know we have some scoffers in here. So we in the same book, but now we're going to the beginning of the book to get the context, to get the audience who Christ is talking to, who he was sent for, who the parables are made to be understood for. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. So Christ came to die for the nation of Israel, for the 2/3 of our people. These are the ones that, guess what, will understand. Now let's go back. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, meaning what? The people that are keeping God's commandments. The Israelites that are keeping God's commandments. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Meaning what? They actually hear and understand the things that was coming out of Christ's mouth. Verse 17, for verily I say unto you that many prophets, who are the prophets? The only prophets in the Bible are the Israelites, according to what? Amos chapter 2, verse 11. These are the only prophets. That's why it's pivotal that brothers and sisters read the Old Testament. If you don't read the Old Testament, you will be lost as hell when it comes to the New Testament. It makes no sense. Verse 17 again from the top. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men. What is being righteous? Keeping the commandments according to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. It says, and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them. Meaning what? Jonas didn't get to see Christ. Isaiah didn't get to see Christ. Jeremiah didn't get to see Christ. Ezekiel didn't get to see Christ. That's who these righteous men and the prophets is he's talking about. They prophesied about Christ, but they didn't actually see him when he came on the scene. Because what? They prophesied before Christ, thousands of years before Christ came on the scene. It says, and desire to see those things which ye see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. So this is what this is going into. Yeah, they don't want to get up in here. I am redeemed, Sister Mariah. Oh yeah, y'all don't even waste their time on that. We'll let brothers take care of them. Yeah, that lets you know, Vince, that guess what? Those are not the Israelites over there. That's the point. You know, y'all have to excuse. Y'all know Edomites be slow as hell. Y'all have to excuse. Susanna Israel in Exodus chapter 13, verse 7, when it says, in all thy quarters, does that mean you can't have any leavened food stored in your vehicles until the feast? Yes. We tell brothers and sisters, no, not in your feast, because it's like you're putting, remember, leaven is compared to what? To sin in the Bible. So it's like you're putting your sin somewhere to go back and get it again. So no, we tell brothers and sisters, throw the leaven away. That's why we try to prepare brothers and sisters not to buy so much bread and not to buy so much leaven, so you don't have to throw so much away. You kind of want to mind the things that you are buying, not overspending and not wasting money. That's what it ultimately teaches you, discipline. Because we know we have certain sisters out there that's not good with money. They overspend. Then the children end up doing what? Wasting food. So no, don't store it in your car either. Remember, leaven is compared to what? Sin in the Bible. Let's get that in the book of 1 Corinthians. And to get a deeper understanding of these things, please go to the BattleX page. Look these classes up. Hey, that's what we on here for, man. Shalom, 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 Sister Rolanda. How you doing, sis? This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 7. And it reads, I'm going to start at verse 6. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 6. This is also a parable that is being given. The parable is going into leaven is compared to sin. You don't want, leaven is the agent that you put in bread to make it rise. So you don't want your sin to ever rise, brothers and sisters. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? So a little sin can, guess what? Can pollute a congregation. That's why it's pivotal that brothers and sisters put their sins in check. That's why sometimes we have to put brothers and sisters out, man. Not because we don't love brothers and sisters, it's because guess what? That sin that they're dealing with or that particular issue that they're dealing with could jump on other brothers and sisters, man. Verse 7, purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump. So it's literally telling you, purge out that old leaven, meaning get rid of it. So you don't want to put those things in the car and then guess what? You're bringing it back in. No, you want to make sure you keep this whole similitude, playing it out to the fullest. It says, purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened, meaning without sin. It says, for even Christ our Passover is sanctified for us. Let us therefore keep the feast, not with old leaven. Meaning when you come keeping the Passover, you're supposed to be putting away all those sins. You have two opportunities that the Most High God give us to, guess what? Be restored. You got the Day of Atonement, which is coming up. Then you have the Passover. Those are the two times in the year where the Most High God gives us an opportunity to wipe away our sins. It says, purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sanctified for us. Let us therefore keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So no, sis, you want to get rid of all those things. Now, I'm pretty sure Sister Mariah, he probably don't even go there. A lot of times we think it's just a bot. Shalom, shalom, Sister Jazz Yajra. How you doing, sis? You're asking a question on Leviticus 19 and 16, sis? Or you just pulling that precept? Like no other, Salakia. If in the kingdom our children are going to be playing with lions and other animals, and since the Most High God created all, wouldn't that mean we should not eat animals since they are our friends? Well, not necessarily, brother, because guess what? Some animals were made to be eaten. We're not going to eat a lion, brother. You know what I'm saying? Even when people are taking care of sheep, they may like that sheep, but ultimately they know what the purpose of that sheep is for. You know, so no, that doesn't negate that like no other. And let's prove that, because it's just animals that's made for us to eat. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 46. Yeah, so no, that doesn't negate it. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 46. This is the law of the beast and of the fowl and of every living creature that moveth in the waters and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. So no, that has no bearings on that, like no other. No, so you see what Vince is saying. He's literally adding to the text. He said that she had faith. You know, he talking about Christ told the Canaanite woman that she's a good woman. No, he called her a dog. And you notice, I'm gonna tell you, you can understand wicked people or scoffers because they never post any scriptures. You know, that's what the Most High God always told us. You know them by their works, man. You know them by their fruits. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 16. And it reads, ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs? But of corrupt. Get my other Bible. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 16 again from the top. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 16. I'm going to start at verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Going into the pastors of these mega churches today. It says, ye shall know them by their fruits. Meaning what? You know if they're keeping the words of the Bible or the commandments or not. That's what the fruits are, according to 2nd Ezra. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but every corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. So you know people by their fruits. So if they're literally quoting things and not giving biblical texts or biblical scriptures to bag them up, don't believe them, brothers and sisters. It says, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. So we know them by the things that they do and by the things that they say. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20. Simple precepts that we go over all the time, man, that the Most High God has us to use on these scoffers like this. That's why I let them stay in the chat. So brothers can literally see the difference on how the Israelites teach versus what scoffers and people in Christianity teach. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20. And it reads, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Meaning, if you want to talk about the Bible, you have to literally give what? Bible scriptures. To do what? To prove all things. I am redeemed. Those who have ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. That's right. And who are the churches? Do you know who the churches are? I am redeemed 777. So even like what he's saying, Jesus came and did away with the commandments. I mean, that's a lie. All you have to do is read the book of Matthew, and let's prove him a liar. Oh, we love Vince up in here, man. We love him to use them as a spiritual punching bag, man. And we Mike Tyson his butt with these scriptures, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, brothers and sisters should get a kick out of these things. Because you literally seeing how he is not lining up with the thus saith the Lord. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. Christ is literally telling you, don't even put it in your head that I came to do away with the law. Christ, 18 chapters down, 14 chapters down, is literally telling us to do what? To keep the commandments to make it into the kingdom of heaven. So that makes no sense. That's why he's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Think not that I am come. It says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Christ didn't come to fulfill doing away with the law. Christ came to fulfill the prophecies that was written of him by what? His sufferings. Let's prove that. This is what brothers and sisters that are new to this truth, write these things down. Let's see what Christ came to fulfill. Let's go to the book of Acts chapter 5, 3 and verse 18. Let's see what Christ came to fulfill. Did he come to fulfill the law? This is the book of Acts chapter 3 and verse 18. But those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that Christ should suffer, he has so fulfilled. Christ came to fulfill the sufferings that the Most High God wanted to put him through. Dying on the cross for Israel, the beating that he took to do what? To bring us back into the fold, not the law. So even like he said right now, talking about the law of Moses is demonic. No, you demonic. Official Gang TV is asking, can we explain 66 and 15? Which one? Isaiah? Because that's the only one that we can think of. Remember, make sure you put the book in there too. But just by you saying 66, make me automatically think about Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. And it reads, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. So it's literally telling us that Christ is coming back with the chariots to tear SHIT stuff up. I got to spell it out, man. Trying to work on our language, man. He's going to come back to tear stuff up, man. Verse 16, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Meaning Christ, when he comes back, he's catching people that's not keeping the commandments, that's wicked, and these other nations, he's going to destroy them. Let's keep reading. Verse 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden, behind one's tree in the midst. This is making reference back to what? The book of Genesis. In the garden, in the tree in the midst, meaning what? The tree of good and evil. Meaning when our people trying to come with philosophies and doctrines that they come up with, man, that's not according to the Bible. This is some heavy, deep stuff right here. It says, eating swine's flesh. What is swine? Pork. And the abomination, meaning any unclean foods. And the mouse, because you have Chinese people that eat rats and mice, shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Meaning Christ is coming back to eat people that are eating pork. We hear it all the time. You think Christ's gonna kill me for eating pork? Well, let's just read it. It's literally him saying that he is going to do it. Now, whether you believe it or not is on you, you know. Gerald, my teacher, religion threatens you with a gun, but never pulls the trigger. Hey, it is, because guess what? God never gave us religion. When you read the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1, he gave us laws, statutes, and commandments, the law. Jazz Joshua, I'm grateful for hearing Captain teach and break it down for us all praise. Why does Yahweh always speak in parables? Because when we go back to it, when you read in the book of, let's go to the book of Hosea, because it's not meant for everybody to get. Remember, the Bible is a mystery book. So let's go back to it. Let's go back to the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Meaning the understanding of the Bible is not meant for everybody. It's not meant for 2/3 of our people. It's not meant for the other nations. Let's get some more precepts. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 78 and verse 1. So that's why the Bible is constantly written in parables. It's not meant for everybody. And that's another shock to Christians. If the Bible was for everybody, don't you think that Most High God would have made it plain as can be for people? No, that's letting you know it's stipulations to the Bible. You must be an Israelite. You must be keeping the commandments. You must be reading it precept upon precept. That's how you get the understanding. Anything else is uncivilized, man. It is. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 78 and verse 2. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. Who fathers? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Christ, Titus, Paul, Peter, John. These are our fathers who are telling us. How are they telling us? They're telling us through the scriptures, by giving us the understanding, by giving us the breakdowns. Because what? We keep his commandments. There's various other precepts you can go to. You can go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verse 29. Parables and similitudes are throughout all the scriptures because it's not meant for everybody to get this. That's why it's constantly written in a mystery. Let's get that in the New Testament. Let's go to the book of Romans. Is that what I want? Chapter 16. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 16 and verse 25. Make sure y'all write these things down. These are precepts for the Bible being a mystery and parables. Romans chapter 16, verse 25. I hadn't lost my thoughts, so we still going to go back to us being dispersed among all the nations. This is the book of Romans, chapter 16 and verse 25. Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began. So meaning the Bible was always kept a secret. The other nations was not meant to understand the Bible, man. They have no business even having the Bible. That's where literally where religion comes from. When you trace back all these religions, they all go back to a certain white man. When you go to Pentecostal, when you go to being a Baptist, going back to what Joseph Smith, John Smith, any one of those damn Smiths. A lot of those so-called white men created those things. You have Baptist church was created by a white man. Pentecostal church was created by a white man. Christianity was created by a white man. Jehovah Wickedness was created by a white man and a white woman. So we see all these religions go back to that. Verse 26, but now is made manifest, and by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting God, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. Now, that's what Christians want to stop. Brother, it said it was made known to all nations, but it's the Most High, ain't no joke. He literally just gave me an alley-oop to continue with my class. Why did it say to all nations? Let's go back. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27. Let's see why it said to all nations. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 27. And it reads, and the Lord shall scatter you. Who is the you? The Israelites. He scattered us among all nations. And the Lord shall scatter you among all the nations. Salaki. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whether the Lord will lead thee. So the Most High God was saying for breaking his commandments, he scattered us. Let's get a proof text. Let's get some more. Let's go back to the book of John. Let's go to James 1:1. Let's get these scriptures, man. This is why this is said made known to all nations, because we were scattered among all nations in the diaspora, in the dispersion. We're going to get it out of Christ's mouth too, man. We're going to run the precepts. This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. So it's literally telling you that the book of James is what is written to the 12 tribes of Israel. You can't then take this letter, this epistle that's addressed to the people that it's for, and then try to apply it to other nations that are not Israelites. Well, God said faith without works. Or God said all you have to have is faith. That's talking about the Israelites. Yeah, the other nations had faith, but it's not for them. Just because they had faith doesn't mean that they get salvation or that they're on equal playing time with us, man. People have to understand the scriptures, man. So we see even in the New Testament, these things are being addressed to the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's get more precepts, man. Let's go to the book. Let's go to where Christ said it, man. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 16. Captain Maccabees brought this precept, man. Great precept out yesterday, man. Like I had to put that in this class today. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse, is that what I want? No, John, Salakia. I want John 16. This is the book of John, chapter 16 and verse 32. Remember, the subject matter is going into what? All nations. Why is it talking about all nations? Because Israelites were scattered among all nations. You know this if you read the Old Testament. You would know this if you read the New Testament, but Christians reject it. So you would never see a Christian read James 1:1, but they sure can quote a lot of things out of the book of James. This is the book of John, chapter 16 and verse number 32. This is red letter, so this is Christ speaking. Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. So Christ even prophesied that what? That the Israelites will be scattered among the nations. When were we scattered at this time? During 70 AD. 70 years after Christ was prophesying this. Or well, you can literally say, because AD means, it's a Latin word that means anno domini, meaning in the year of our Lord. So Christian historians kind of put Christ's death at 32 or at 33. So they start the years off with what? Christ is being born. So that's what that means, in the year of our Lord. So they say that AD started when Christ was basically 1 year old. They say 1 AD when he was born. So Christ, what Christian historians say, they say he died about 30 or 32 AD. And 70 AD happened when Titus and Vespasian destroyed the temple. So Christ prophesied this in his 30s, and it came to pass what? 40 something years later. This is what this is going into. Let's read about it. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. This is some heavy stuff. That's why brothers and sisters have to understand geography. You have to understand history. You have to understand timelines when it comes to the scriptures. This is letting our people know that the Bible is a true book, man. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies. What armies? Going into the Roman armies. Titus and Vespasian, son and father. They surrounded Jerusalem, sieged us, cut off our water supply and our food supply. We killed one another. We ate one another. It was terrible, man. It says, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereto. Meaning what? If you're not staying in Jerusalem, don't come back to Jerusalem. Meaning what? To come back to celebrate the high holy days. If you're in Jerusalem, get the hell out of Jerusalem. But you had certain sects that stayed there and thought they was able to withhold the Romans, and they was destroyed. Many of them was killed, and the rest was sold into slavery. Christ is telling us to what? Flee into the mountains, meaning go into Africa. Why do we go into Africa? To hide amongst other dark-skinned people. Not because we were African, and we literally stayed there until the so-called white man, guess what? Rounded us up in 1619. So this was over thousands of years on when we dwelt in Africa. So we dwelt in Africa from 70 AD all the way up into 1619. These are historical facts, brothers and sisters. What do? We were scattered amongst the nations during those times. That's why we have other historical books too, to kind of back up what the Bible is saying and going into greater detail. Well, books like The Lost Tribes in the Promised Land. We have books like from Babylon to Timbuktu. I hope that wasn't my book on the outside. Nah, it wasn't. You know, Israelites don't be playing about those books, man. So we have other books that we read that, guess what, filters through the Bible to, guess what, give us more information. It says, this is the book From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor, a black man that went to these areas to research the Israelites, man. It says, page 107, the final dispersion of the black Jews of Africa. Now, you know, our people, this brother, he did some good information, but he really didn't know, guess what? When it says that, that's going, when it says the black Jews, he didn't have to put that because we know that the Jews are black. So we know that, guess what? We know some white men had to be influencing him, or he just didn't have a good understanding. But he had some understanding to understand the historical part of it, not the spiritual part. It says, let me get to the point. Let's see. I want to get straight to the point. This is going into when we were expelled to the Arabians, or so-called, let me see. So even during the Ptolemy dynasty, this is page 107, the third paragraph. The Phoenicians established their metropolis, Carthage, in the 9th century BC. So BC is going into what? Before Christ. It says eventually they conquered the neighboring tribes of Libya to the Atlantic Ocean, disseminating their Hebrew Phoenician language and culture in every direction. The Hebrew Phoenician language, meaning the culture was invigorated and strengthened by the deportation and the migration of energetic black Hebrews from Palestine. Ptolemy of Egypt conquered Syria and Phoenicia, deporting more than 100,000 Hebrews. The Persian king Cambyses had previously sanctioned the colonization of Hebrews in Egypt. During the wars of Maccabees, thousands of Hebrews became slaves and exiles. So we constantly see where what all nations had a hand in part in what? Dispersing us and scattering us. That's why you need these historical books to kind of back up the facts as well, man. This is a good book to have too. It's other precepts that you can pull with this as well. Even when you jump over to pages 109, where I have 70 AD. Let me see if I can get to my other point. 1492, going into when Christopher Columbus sailed over here. So we see that, guess what? They know who we are. They understand these things, man. Damien asks, Shalom, why they pay tithes to the church, Numbers 18:24. Let's get that right quick. 18, they pay tithes because our people don't know any better, and they don't read the Old Testament. You know, they read that part, but then they don't understand it. And that's why we tell them, hey, y'all saying that the laws is done away with. Why the hell y'all still paying tithes then? I mean, that within itself makes no damn sense. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and it reads, and behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an heritage, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. And that's a good point too, even Brother Damon. How do they know they're Levitical priests? They're not even Levitical priests. And even if they were, they're not doing it according to the specifications that the Most High God gave them. They're deceiving the people. They deceive the people by reading them what? Let's go to the book of Malachi. Will a man rob God? Yes, true enough, you should pay alms, but nowhere in the Bible does it tell you to give 10%. That was for the Levitical priests, and it wasn't money. That was for food and for crops, brothers and sisters. Go to the book of Malachi. I'm glad we got StreamYard, man, because this kind of scared those scoffers off, man. They be too scared to click the link now, man. That's crazy. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 8. And it reads, will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. So this is a scripture that they'll pull on our people to make them feel some type of way about not giving 10% to the church. Shalom, shalom, Brother Tony Douglas. Shalom. How y'all doing? So this is a scripture that they use to try to, guess what? Make our people feel bad about not giving. But let's see what your tithes were. Any brother got the precept? Any sister got the precept? Because y'all need to know these things, man. Y'all need to have them. Y'all need to know them. Any brother or sister know the precept? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 22. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed. No, it says dollar bill. No, it says seed. You tithe the increase of your seed because what? The Levitical priests didn't have land that the Most High God gave them. So on your land, you have what? Resources. You have trees. You have animals. You need those things to sustain you. So the other 11 tribes had to do what? Give tenths of their resources off their land to the Levitical priests. So that in turn in the New Testament made them what? Very rich. That's why they was actually mad at Christ. That's some deep understanding too. That's actually why they were mad at Christ for coming in, destroying the money-making machine that they had, because the people kept giving them tithes, even though they wasn't doing the Levitical service holy, or the way that the Most High God had set it up. Verse 22 again from the top. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bring it forth year by year. So it's literally telling you that it's not money. And we're going to read down to show you that it's not money. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God. Last time I checked, you can't eat money. It says, and thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn and of thy wine and of thy oil, the firstling of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, meaning what? You have people that didn't stay in Jerusalem, that stayed in other places because they were scattered by slavery, come up to what? To celebrate the Passover and the Feast of Tabernacles, like we're getting ready to. They will bring these offerings up there. So if that way was too long to carry all those things, let's see what God commanded them. Which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God had blessed thee, then thou shalt turn it into money, meaning the things that you were going to bring up to Jerusalem to offer it to the Levitical priests, you would turn it into money, because money will be lighter than carrying all those goods that you was going to give as offerings. So tithing had nothing to do with money. It was the food and resources that we had on our lands that we gave to the Levitical priests. The word tithe means tenth. That's why they say tenth. Give a tenth portion. Brother Emmanuel, shalom, everyone. The Edomites are building their new kingdom in Saudi Arabia worth 500 billion, called Neom near Petra. And the ancient Edomite area, look up Neom, please. I'm glad that you said that. I'm going to look into that, because the Most High God said whatever they build, he going to throw it down anyway. So let them build away. Let's go to the book of Malachi. Whatever they build, brothers and sisters, it will be thrown down. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, and we will return and build the desolate places. Because guess what? Even over there today, modern day Petra over there in Jordan, where Indiana Jones did that movie, the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Brothers and sisters, when y'all looking at these archaeological places, these places are real, man. Literally. That's literally where Esau comes from. It says, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness and the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever. So, Brother Emmanuel, don't even worry about it, brother. They can build all this stuff. God is going to throw it down. I am redeemed 777. If you eat lion meat, you aren't human. That's exactly right. You crazy as hell. It's not a coincidence why you always constantly seeing Esau gunning down lions. They know that's literally our symbol, man. Lion of Judah. Christ is a lion. When you read in the book of 2nd Ezra, they understand on a deeper level what these things stand for, man. Sister Mariah, Hamites eat lions, elephants, yeah, giraffes. Now, we can eat giraffes. I ain't gonna say that I want to, but I mean, hey, it chews the cud and it has divided the hooves. Trip me out. I know Brother Razatop brought that up. Sister Susanna Israel, do y'all have a website that shows all the Most High? No, we have a calendar, sis. So you can just call me after we get out of class and I'll send you a calendar. Yes, like no other, the Day of Atonement is going to be on the 24th sundown. So that's a Saturday. So we're going to it that Saturday night and that Sunday day. So yes, that's the Day of Atonement where you don't eat or drink anything for 24 hours. Don't brush your teeth. Don't take any medicine. You don't do none of those things, brothers and sisters. Gerald, the reason I do not believe in the Bible 100% is because the theory of evolution, which has DNA. No, it's no such thing as evolution, brother. We do not descend from monkeys. Think about it, brother. In order for you to descend from something or evolve from something, that means it would not be any more of that animal. You still have monkeys on the planet Earth today, and we can prove that too. I would say you don't understand the Bible because guess what? It hadn't been properly broke down to you, brother. And that's all that it is. I used to watch TV shows like the History Channel, Ancient Aliens, where they talk about all these different ways that man could have existed, aliens. And guess what? One thing that I always found out that they always went to the Bible. But the thing is, they don't understand the Bible. Only the Israelites was given the understanding. So it's no such thing as evolution, Gerald. And we're going to prove that. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 39. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another flesh of fish, and another of birds. So it's showing you that and man flesh cannot mix with an animal flesh. So even what brothers thinking is reptilians out here, brothers is bugged out, man. Bugged out. And I'm gonna tell you, Esau put these doctrines out here to do what? To get our people to scatter among those, to take them away from the Bible. That's the deception that the devil is putting out here in the world. Go into this. Think about evolution. Think about us being on the planet Earth for millions of years. Think about aliens that is in distant planets. Think about those things. Don't think about the Bible. No, you need to think about the Bible, man, because the Bible answers all questions. I'm going to read it again. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies, meaning angel bodies. Outer dimension bodies, Salakia. It says, and bodies terrestrial, meaning what? Of the earth. It says, but the glory of the terrestrial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another, meaning angels and man cannot mix. So that's letting you know in the book of Genesis chapter 6, angels did not come down here and sleep with men. No, that means that the Most High God doesn't have his kingdom in order. You saying aliens, Satan had a fight with God. He socked God. God got his leg back and then cast him out. Say, you get out of here. Oh, Satan said, I'm going to take a group of angels with me, and we just gonna go down to earth and have a big party on the women down there. No, angels was not made to mate with humans. They're not even made to do that. The angels are made to do the bidding of the Most High and to bring war at his will. So it's showing you that we cannot mix with angels and men cannot mix with animals. Therefore, is no such thing as evolution. If man and animals cannot mix, men cannot be evolved from animals. I hope you understand that, Brother Jerub. That's right. Yeah, don't believe in evolution as man-made. Says Jazz Jazrael, can you break down the Day of Atonement, please? And are there previous classes I can watch about it? Most definitely, sis. All you have to do is type in Battle Axes, Day of Atonement. You know, we'll be going into those classes, but a brief breakdown is just what? You not eating or drinking anything. So to get more understanding, let's go to the book of Leviticus chapter 23, sis. The book of Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 26. And it reads, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, because we're in the 7th month. That's why Esau put these things out here, and they hide things in plain sight. Sept is a Latin word for 7. So September is what? Really the 7th month of the year, and not the 9th month on how it goes by the Gregorian calendar. October, the prefix for that is what? Octo, which means what? It's Latin for 8. It's showing you that October is really the 8th month and not the 10th month. Nov, or November, stands for 9. It's not really the 11th month. Deca, for December, is not the 12th month. It's the 10th month of the year. So Esau put these things in plain sight, and our people don't never, well, you really won't ever understand it until you come into the knowledge of the truth. So we're literally in the 7th month. We're not in the 9th month. But we know at our jobs in this society, we write what? 9-3. We write these things. But according to the scriptures, we're in the 7th month. So it says, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you. So on the Day of Atonement, we're literally supposed to be gathering this day. And we're going to gather that, because when I came into the truth many years, we didn't keep it. So by us setting up Battle Axes, Most High God revealed that to us, that we need to, guess what, keep this as a holy convocation, so we end the Day of Atonement together. So we'll have Sabbath class, send Brews home early for camp so they can prepare themselves for what? For the Day of Atonement. Then we'll end it when we come in that Sunday day. So we'll probably come in at about 6. You know, we know that the sun goes down about 8:30. You know, we just do a long marathon class where brothers and sisters can ask any questions that they want, so we can end that out together. But I'm going to continue reading. It says, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls. That's what the Day of Atonement is about. You afflicting your souls. Fasting is all about discipline, and you want to afflict yourself by what? Thinking about the things, the sins that you may have done ignorantly, asking the Most High God forgive us, and guess what? Have him bless us as a nation of people. Because what? Your body craves food. Your body craves junk food. That's something I have to deal with. Sugar, you know, having discipline, trying to stop yourself from not giving your body it wants. So this is very, very pivotal, brothers and sisters. No food, nor drinking water for 24 hours, or letting anything touch your mouth. Not brushing your teeth, not trying to be slick, going to a shower, gargle some water and spit it out real quick. No, we have to take the Day of Atonement very, very seriously. It says, and it shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. So we're not giving the offering, but we are partaking in what? In the afflicting of our souls by not eating or drinking anything for a 24-hour period. It says, and ye shall do no work in that same day, meaning if you can get off from your job that day, all praise to the Most High. It says, and most people will be off since it's on the weekend. It says, it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. For whosoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. Meaning, if you're not partaking in these things, you have to watch out, because that may be the day that what? The Most High God cuts your mercy off. We're talking about brothers and sisters that know the truth, that have been in this truth for a number of years. If you're not partaking in these high holy days, shame on you, man, because God will judge you. Not keeping tabernacles, not keeping the feast of Pentecost, the Day of Atonement, the memorial blowing of trumpets, it's consequences for these things. Brother Gerald, could aliens have written the Bible? Hell no. That's easy. No. Aliens didn't read the Bible. Let me ask you, Brother Gerald. It sounds like you watch Ancient Aliens. Yeah, don't believe that stuff, brother. The only aliens or outer or celestial beings is going into the angels. And they're not aliens, they're angels. But let's second, if Jesus came back, who would he talk to first? Shoot, his people. He would talk to his people. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Let's see who he would talk to. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he's literally telling you to go to who? He was coming back to deal with the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Shalom, Corman Robert, Shalom. I've heard that people say that the prophets of old are back on the earth today, but no one knows who they are. Do they know? No. No one has that understanding. The only one that knows those things is Christ. And that's because the Most High God gave him the spirit without measure, meaning Christ, he has a lot of power, second to none other but the Most High. But let's prove that. Let's see why. There's no remembrance of former things. So you can't know who you were in your past life. But we get this thing where you call what? Deja vu. To where you done seen things and you felt like you done been there before. A lot of times because you have. That's the Most High God sending your spirit back on the planet Earth time and time again in a different body. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So all that nonsense that scientists put out that the world is going to be destroyed in 4.4 billion years, that's nonsense. The Bible says that the earth abideth forever. Even when World War III kicks off and nations will be shooting nuclear missiles everywhere, this place is going to be tore up, but it's not going to be totally destroyed. It won't. It says, the sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to its place where it arose. It says, the wind go toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. So the Most High God is comparing the spirits of man to the world, and the circuits that the rivers, when it flows into the oceans, how it's on a continual cycle, meaning things constantly rotate. Guess what? Our spirits constantly rotate as well, meaning the Most High God sends our spirits back every third or fourth generation. Let's prove that right quick. Let's go to the book of Exodus. Book of Exodus, chapter 20. Let's prove that the Most High God sends our spirits back every third or fourth generation. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20. Hold that precept in Ecclesiastes. Remember, you have to flip through the Bible to get the proper understanding. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So we see what the Most High God does. What? He visits the iniquity when he sends your spirit back every third or fourth generation. That's why you get that baby done been here before, because that spirit have been here before. Or you say what? That baby got an old soul, because that soul had been here before. It's just in a new body. Let's go back to the book of Ecclesiastes and answer your question directly. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse number 9. The thing that had been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. The thing that it's talking about is the spirits of man. Verse 9, verse 10. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us. Verse 11 is your point, sis. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Letting you know it's talking about spirits, because it said what? Those those what? Those spirits. So Most High God sends our spirits back, but you don't know who you were in your past life. So you had brothers that were in the truth in the early years saying that they were King David, saying that they were Isaiah. Brothers cannot say that because the scripture says that you won't know who you are. That's why when they asked John the Baptist, who are you? Who are you? And John the Baptist said, I don't know. But Christ let them know that John the Baptist and the prophet Elijah in the Old Testament were the same people. It just came back in a different body. That's some heavy stuff. We'll go back over that class with regeneration as well. So you understand that? Sister Carmen Roberts, put it back in the chat to let me know if we need to go more into it. Mariah, is Leviticus 19:16 talking about all people or just Israelites? It's just talking about Israelites, sis. Let's get this. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. You see that, sis? Thy people is the children of Israel. I'm going to read it again. Because a lot of times our people, you take your time, it'll give you the answer sometimes in the scriptures. The more and more you start to what? Keep the commandments. I'm going to read it again from the top. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. It says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Letting you know your brother and your neighbor are interchangeable. And it's talking about what? The children of your people. Yeah, we don't even need to waste our time, Brother Damon Reed and Vince that. Hey, he could drop dead, man. We don't give a damn. So, Sister Mariah, the book of Leviticus is written only to the Israelites. Even in a prefix, Levi, Leviticus, the book of the Levitical priests. King Asher, Shalom, Yasharallah. Like no other, evolution is bull. That's right. King James too. Like no other, Gerald. That's right. Shalom, Shalom, Sister Keo. Missed you in class yesterday. Says I hope everything is good. We are scattered everywhere. That's right. Official Gang TV. Can you explain Malachi 3 and 8? The church tries to use. I just explained it. You have to go back up. It's just using. We literally just went over that. So you want to go over Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22. It's talking about tithes and offerings. Talking about your food and your crops. Not talking about money. I am redeemed. Without the Bible, we wouldn't be led together. That's exactly right. We wouldn't, because our people always talk about let's come together, but what do we come together up under? Are we going to come together up under Islam, Christianity, when Christianity and Islam teach us to hate ourselves, teach us not to love our own people? We come together up under God's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the only thing that we come together up under. And that's Amos chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Agreed in what? In keeping God's commandments, in knowing that we're Israelites. We have to be brought together on common aims and goals. That's what this is going into. Yeah, you got a diaspora map. Yeah, we done read that to him. Me personally, I done read that to him plenty of times. Even before you got on here, he was on here. It says, I am redeemed, because he don't even see him in the chat no more. So it literally would be a waste of time. A 4th grade social studies book would teach the same thing as right. 100,000, but guess what? We have more than that. You have millions of Israelites that were enslaved. Psalms 107, let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he had redeemed from the hand of the enemy. That's right. They think they're going to reap a harvest. That's right. That's exactly right. You know what that precept done, Israel precepts with? That precepts with Matthew chapter 8 and verse 11 too. Because a lot of times they want to say that. I'm glad Brother Don Israel in the spirit, man. Let's get there right quick. Because this is another precept that we can pull. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 8 and verse 11. I think that's what I want. Touching them back on the class. Get this book. Make sure Bruce write this, especially you battle axe soldiers, man. Y'all better write this, and officers take these things down. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 8 and verse 11. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. So they got us. It says many. It didn't just say the Israelites. Well, why in the hell do you think it's making reference to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Why the hell didn't it say Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, and Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, and Esau, and Jacob? I mean, it's literally breaking these things down, man. Come on, man. That's the precept for what Brother Don Israel is pulling, man. You're in the spirit, Brother Don. Let's get that. Because I literally had that for my class yesterday. So you soup in the spirit. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 107 and verse 3. And it reads, I'll start up at verse 2. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he had redeemed from the hand of the enemy, and gathered them out of the lands, from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. They wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way. They found no city to dwell in. So it's literally letting you know who is it going to bring out from the east and the west? The Israelites. That's where Christ was literally quoting this from. Guess what? It's another precept. Let's go to the book of Zechariah. Zechariah was saying the same thing, quoting the same thing that what? That Christ was quoting. That King David was quoting. They were all on one accord. The book of Zechariah, chapter 8 and verse 7. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 8 and verse 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west, and I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness. That's a heavy, heavy precept, man. Heavy precept. Brothers better write those things down. Sister Jerry Cooper, Captain, do you know of someone called Constantine? Yes. Constantine, I know, listen to Deacon-a-thon going into the history. I know I was trying to research it myself. No, Constantine was one of the wicked Israelites that literally was kind of establishing or had part in establishing Christianity. So not all of our people were righteous, you know. Some say Constantine, you know, our so-called Caucasian, they say everybody in history is white. But some point this back to Constantine being a black man, was one of the founders of Christianity. You know, we know that the so-called white man morphed that into more things today. It says, today I learned that my brother by blood has no faith in the Bible. He brought up someone named Constantine. I think he was an atheist and Esau. Well, no, not all of those people were Edomites or white people. Some of our people were wicked as hell too. And they went in particular ways because of the politics in those times. So he said that he got a vision that the Most High God gave to him, seeing a cross and all this different type of nonsense. But remember, the Most High God prophesies before they bring forth, before things spring forth, the Most High God tells us of them. So he wasn't. And that's what a lot of times people try to believe. Constantine was one of the people that was over the Council of Nicaea. We could say that. So people just regurgitate things that they have heard and was being passed down. You know, in 325 AD, it was a council to where they put forth to basically start Christianity as we know it today. Yeah, they don't want to click that link. That's why I love this thing. Yeah, don't be scared now. Don't be scared. So yes, sis. I've heard that he's black, and I kind of point towards that way, because this is going into when the Romans was basically about to be being taken down. You know, so we know we had figures like Septimius Severus that helped take down the Roman. He was a black man. You know, a lot of these people that our people think are white are actually black people. And not all of them knew that they were Israelites, and not all of them that, even if they knew they were Israelites, were righteous men. Sometimes they was doing things for political power and to gain certain military powers and riches in those days. You see, we got scoffing Barakai in the chat. Hey, click the link, Barakai. Hey, tell him, push the button, push the damn button. I get on him too, Officer Yaakov. Nah, we just joking, man. No auto dirt. You gotta pin the StreamYard link. I did. Go back up to the top. You trying to get up in here? No auto dirt. I did. You got to go all the way back up to the top. I don't know. I think it'll still be up in there. Yeah, it's all the way at the top. Scroll to the top and click the link. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot I had to reping it. Damn it. I would say, Ak, you can call me if that's you. I want to make sure. Yeah, call me, Ak. Shoot, you know how we do, Ak. I thought I had it in there. I thought my wife put it in there. Babe. Babe. Yeah, Psalms 107, 2 verses 3. Precepts with Zechariah chapter 8, verse 7, and that precepts with Matthew's chapter 8 and 11. Sister Jerry Cooper, Captain, thank you. I'm not. We understand, sis. That's why, hey, you good, sis. Don't worry about that. We understand how people have these thoughts. Shalom. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks, Hold on. So, like your brothers and sisters, have to get my IT person to help me right quick because it wasn't a copy and paste. I know. Invite.
Over.
Yeah. Hello. I got invite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks, right. Thanks, Officer Barakaya. So yeah, you can go ahead and click the link. Bear with me. Shalom, shalom, Sister Odetta. Brother, you can click the chat. It's the link is in there. I forgot who was in there asking for the link. Damn, y'all was putting these comments up in here, boy. Yeah, but remember, I am redeemed. We're not supposed to celebrate birthdays. I just want you to know that. According to the book of Job and according to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 20 or 22 and 16. Yes, Sister Susanna, Most High God had orders for the Levitical priests to use certain woods. They had to be totally following his directions. I'm going back up. Shalom, shalom. Brother Gerald, the Most High Yahweh hates Edomites so much because he created them to be the wicked. That's it. He created us to be the good and the righteous, and he created them to be the wicked. That's how the Most High God deals. Damn, y'all was putting these things. Okay, now I'm back up to the top. Okay. Okay, Sister Jerry Cooper says, my brother believed this person, Constantine, wrote the Bible. Foolish man, that's right. Constantine did not write the Bible. The Bible is a Latin for biblios, meaning a compilation of books over thousands of years. So no, Constantine did not write the book because he was only born, 325 AD. You had the prophet Isaiah that was in the time of 721 BC. So this was thousands of years before Constantine was even thought about. Then you have Moses in 1500 BC, even more thousands of years before Isaiah. So no. Yes, Official Gang TV. You saying regeneration? Is that what you're trying to say? Regeneration. We explained that too. You're a little late today. We just kind of went through that. Sister asked about that. So regeneration in the scriptures is going into where the Most High God sends your spirit back on the planet Earth every third or fourth generation. Yeah, Constantine, and I'm gonna tell you, Sister Jerry, this is where you can also Google into these things. Now, be it may, where Esau has whitewashed all the pictures. Now, even coming up as I have learned, Shalom, Sister Elaine, prayers going up for brother for Officer Keenan. I know I heard his birth person is a little low. I'm gonna give him a call after class. But hope that Ak is watching. Just prayers go out to Ak. I know he's a strong brother, but I'm most definitely give y'all a call after class. But yeah, Constantine is just going into that. People literally take that because he was in the Council of Nicaea, and they just want to attest him to making the Bible. A Roman emperor. So you want to make sure that you go into these things using your iPhones, using the technology that y'all have today. Bear with me. So I'll put the chat in there for brothers and sisters that want to click the link. So it says Constantine I, also known as Constantine the Great, was a Roman emperor from AD 306 to 337 AD. So this was what time and time after Christ was long and dead. This is like almost 300 years after Christ died. He was the first emperor to convert to Christianity, born in Naissus, Dacia Mediterranean. He was the son of Flavius Constantine, a Roman officer. So we see that he was an emperor, and he basically merged them into Christianity, but he did not write the Bible. Those are totally two different things. And like we said, Christianity has nothing to do with the white man. Now it can be debated. You see images of him being white, but you also see images of Christ being white. So I know I'm steady doing research on there, trying to dig a little deeper to see which race was he. You know, some people say that he was Caucasian. Some people point to him being black. You know, and if he was an Israelite, he was just a wicked Israelite. You know, we had wicked Israelites that instituted certain things too, but at the forefront of these things are Caucasians. But make sure you look those things up too, sis. La da militant shalom. The Edomites found Noah's Ark on the mountain and turned it into a tourist attraction. Shaking my head. Yeah, they're going to pay for that too. But I'm going to tell you, the Most High God leave those things out there to show our people that these things are real. So we know that the Ark, Noah's Ark, is actually over there where it landed, in Mount Ararat in Turkey. You know, showing our people that the Bible is real. And Sister Jerry Cooper, you have to ask them too. Just tell them to reach out anytime you want to talk. That's why we out here, to give our people the understanding. That's why the Most High God left these things, these artifacts out here. That's why the Bible says, I ain't gonna lie, I like what Brother Ariala said from Sakari. The earth shall help the woman. How's the earth helping the woman? By what? Them discovering all different types of archaeology that lines up with the Bible. So we know that the chariots, what the Most High God killed the Egyptian pharaohs, is still over there in the Red Sea. Why do you think they won't allow any archaeologists to go and dig up sites? Come on, man. Esau always trying to study these things. They don't want people to find these things because they don't want to make the Bible true. Plain and simple, man. Because like we say, that water preserves things. They went down there. They seen that it was 5-spoke chariot wheels, the time of the Pharaoh Ramses. In the 18th or 19th dynasty, they found horse bones down there. They found men bones down there. They found all different type of certain things down there, but they won't officially open it up for the world to explore. What are they trying to hide? It's a lot of things that, guess what, that's put out there that brothers and sisters must research. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 85 and 11. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 85 and verse 11. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. So we're seeing truth springing up, meaning the Bible, and guess what? The archaeology that's found in the Bible, in the earth. We're seeing these things with Noah's Ark, with the chariot wheels, with certain other artifacts that they have out there too, that they're trying to hide from our people. Sister Jerry Cooper, God created the Bible and had his righteous men to record it. Right. That's exactly right, sis. Let's go get there. Let's go to the book of Exodus. That's why it's very important to take these notes. Yes, you have a lot of homework to do. A lot. You look these things up. A lot of these things are on videos. I know I did the class on the Passover video showing these things, man. You know, a couple years ago, type in Battle Axes Passover 2019 or 2020. Yes, you have a lot of research to do. All these things point back to the scriptures. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 31 and verse 18. And he gave Moses, and he had gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God. So the Most High God put his stamp on it. So yes, the Bible was created with the finger of the Most High. That's right. You know, make sure you watch those older videos. I would like y'all to bring back understanding of you going to search Noah's Ark. That would be some good homework to do. You researching the chariot wheels and spokes. Look these things up on YouTube. Want to make sure that y'all properly reading precept upon precept, even going over the precepts that I have been going through. You know, I want y'all to make sure that y'all go over these things so y'all can have a good understanding of it. You know, Sister Jerry Cooper, I promise, and tried instead sending him your link right now. He can just listen, but he's lost. Yeah, it just meant a lot of times I'm gonna tell you, sis, the truth is not meant for everybody, but the truth is meant for everybody to hear. So in that day, when you're being judged, you brought before the Most High, you can't say, I didn't know, Lord. Lord, I promise I didn't know. He's going to say you're a damn lie because I had the prophets out there. I had your family members telling you the truth and you rejected it. That's solely why, sis. All praise, House of Daniel. But obviously, Yaakov talking about some damn brisket. All praise, sis. That's what we're here for. Okay. All praise. Just reach out to us. I am redeemed. I know I want the shirt. Just reach out to us. Now I don't know. You talking about a battle axe shirt? Hey, you know you got to be proven to get a battle axe shirt. We want to know that brothers is gonna get with the program. Brothers gonna be diligent. So it's a proving process. Let's go to the book of Sirach. But if you want a shirt with some fringes, feel free to reach out to us. I could put you through. My wife, she makes shirts. We have other sisters that make shirts in the congregation. So put these things forth out. I am redeemed. Just reach out to us. This is the book of Sirach. But if you want a battle axe shirt, you have to be proven first, brother. You know, we want to make sure that the Most High God is sending us diligent laborers, brothers and sisters, because sisters have a job too among this walk. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. So we'll talk with you, basically interview you, see where you at, see where you stay, see how you can put in work, see if you've been studied up. You know, these are things, like we say, we want to make sure that we are proven brothers and sisters, you know. He said, these other nations are terrified. The day is approaching with speed, time, and surely. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. You know, if our camp is full of heresy, don't watch us. Just plain and simple. Or better yet, Vince, just give us a scripture and show why we are heretics. Because I can pull plenty of scriptures showing why you ain't getting the kingdom and you're hated of the Most High because you're an Edomite. So we see that. And Ankh, you can't even spell. And Ankh, no, we don't deal with Ankhs. That's idolatry. We don't deal with idolatry. Oh, okay. Salakia, sis. Salakia, sis. I'm sorry, sis. Daughter of Zion. Man, now, Vince, you know damn well you don't want to read no damn Malachi, man. Come on, man. Stop playing. I ain't gonna lie, we'll allow scoffers on here too, because sometimes they just hilarious, man. I'm talking about him being an Edomite saying, let's read Malachi, man. It just don't look good for you, man. It just don't. Tell me why. I mean, I'm keeping his commandments. I know I'm an Israelite. I'm actually doing the things that's in the Bible. You know, I'm pretty sure you don't wear fringes. You know, we like them in there because they literally just punching bags for us. We use these people as dummies, spiritual dummies, so we can practice on, especially you brothers that go out and teach on the streets. So the things that he's coming up with are the questions or the scoffing phrases or statements that he's putting in there. Brothers need to be what? Thinking of precepts to go to. He said he want to go to Malachi. Okay, well, we'll go. Malachi. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 6. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children. You don't even understand what this means. And the heart of the children to their fathers. Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Meaning what? In these last days, the Most High God is turning our heart back to the fathers. Who are our fathers? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. What did these forefathers do? Zechariah. They kept the commandments. So that's why it's not a coincidence that you're seeing these young Black and Hispanic men on these corners teaching and actually doing the things that's in the Bible so that we don't get smit with a curse. You know, we're actually doing these things so we don't be judged by the Most High. You only get the curses when you break God's laws. So yes, we do believe in that. But I want you to read Malachi chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. This is the book of Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? So Malachi is saying, where do you love us, God? We get shot down. We oppressed. We in the ghettos. We getting murdered as a nation of people. So the Most High God is going to prove. It says, was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob and I hated Esau. So the Most High God replies, this is how I love you. I loved you because I chose you over Esau. I loved you and I hated Esau. It says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but I will return and build the desolate places, thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever. Because Christians will say that they're what? It was only Esau that God hated. No, the Bible says that God has an indignation for him and his people forever. And we know that that's true because guess what? You see it in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49. You see it in the book of Isaiah, chapter 63, where Christ is literally going to slaughter the Edomites. You see it in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, chapter 35, chapter 25. See it in the book of Romans. You see it in the book of Genesis. All the way from the beginning, the Most High God had an indignation for them. So, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't see how that verse cuts us, man. I just don't. What scripture in the Bible says that we have to go to Jerusalem? Because we don't read that. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you some scriptures that's showing you that we won't be in our homeland. Let me give you this. Scriptures to show you that we won't be in our homeland. We're going to show you who's in that homeland. This is the book of Luke. We read it earlier. The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. So we know this is going into 70 AD. Jumping down to verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So Christ is letting you know Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD. And who is living in there? Gentiles. Because it was trodden down by Gentiles. So yeah, it's pretty sad. Yeah, okay. Apostle say, I mean, what? Is that supposed to be deep or something? No, I call myself a prophet of the Most High because we're actually reading the Bible. So you can't bear false witness against us. You never heard me say that. And we do have brothers of other camps that claim to be, that are apostles or title themselves as apostles. So, I mean, yeah, we know all praise that the Most High God don't change because, y'all getting destruction whether you want to or not. So it is what it is. Yeah, GMS brothers from GMS say that. So we never said that, but we wouldn't be lying if we said it. I mean, what's the point? You arguing points that we don't argue. Argue some points like who the Israelites are today and who are you? Who are the Edomites today? Okay, all praises, sis. So you would be from the tribe of Levi. Ezra was a priest. So any other questions, brothers and sisters? How long have we been on? We've been on here approaching 2 hours. Chris Jones, does the book of Daniel tie into the book of Revelation? If so, can you discuss where they tie together? That's a good question. Yes, the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel does tie into the book of Revelations. It's a deep, deep book. So we'll show you where it ties in. So when you read the book of Daniel, chapter 7, it ties into the book of Revelations when you use the book of Revelations chapter 13. So in the book of Daniel chapter 7 is going into 4 great beasts. It's going into the Babylonian kingdom, going into the Persian and Mede kingdom. The Babylonian kingdom represents the lion. The Persian and Mede captivity represents the bear. And then we have the Greek captivity, which represents the lion. And then the 4th captivity, which represents Rome, which wasn't said in Rome. But we know that these things are this next kingdom, because when you go through historical and history, you see what Most High God gave all nations a time to rule. So you had the Egyptians ruling. You had the Assyrians ruling for a time. You had the Babylonians rule for a time. You had the Persian and Medes rule for a time. Then you had the Greeks come up, meaning white folks or Caucasians come up and rule. You had the Romans rule for a time. Now you have America ruling for a time. So the book of Daniel chapter 7 ties into Revelations chapter 13. But it comes with a lot of understanding, Brother Chris. But you can put it down for Revelations chapter 13 and verses 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get that right quick. So that's why I'll be on, brothers and sisters, about learning history. It's very pivotal that you learn history. For one, it shows people that don't believe the Bible that the Bible is the true book. You know, it's literally showing that, because it's undeniable history in the Bible. You have emperors that are mentioned in the Bible like Tiberius. You have other Roman emperors. You have other historical books like the book of Josephus. These are books that are studied by prestigious colleges, meaning what? Caucasians. They admit to these things, you know, not us. This is the book of Revelations chapter 13 and verse 1. The beast in the book of Revelations make reference to the Caucasian race, going into the 7-head beast upon 10 horns. These 7 heads represents the 7 Edomite kingdoms in the world. You got Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain. These are the 7 major Edomite empires. Then the 10 horns that sits upon the 7 heads is going into the 10 common markets of what we know today as NATO. When you look these things up, you'll see these 10 common markets. What are these? These are all European Union people, or Edomite leagues. Verse 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Is this a literal beast? No. The Most High God compares men to beasts. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes to show, brothers and sisters. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 18. I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. So when you're not keeping God's laws, when you are a wicked nation of men, God calls you beasts, because you're what? Basically living off instinct. That's why the Most High God made us higher than the beast, because he gave us understanding on how to keep his commandments. This is the book of Revelations chapter 3 and verse 1 again from the top. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. So even in the Bible, the sea is making reference to nations, because they make a rushing and they make a noise like the sea. This is not literally talking about the water, like Godzilla is coming up out of the water. That's why you have to be very equipped and very studied to understand the book of Revelations. You have to have a good understanding of the book, the whole Bible, before you get to the book of Revelations. And I'm going to prove that. Sorry, I didn't go in order. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 7 and verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth. The whore is going into the same beast. The whore and the beast are synonymous. Verse 15 again from the top. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So we see that it's not an actual sea. It's the nations that is coming up to rise above. The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 1, again from the top. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Because these nations put forth what? Doctrines that are contrary to the Bible. Blasphemy is lies. They're the ones saying that they're the Jews, that they're God's chosen people, they're God's gift to the planet Earth. They put up all types of lies. They say that Christ is white. They say that all the people in the Bible are white. They say God is white. They say the angels are white. That's blasphemy according to the Bible, because the Bible contradicts everything that they teach in their philosophies and doctrines. Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Why is it describing a leopard? When you look at Alexander the Greek, when I see that movie, he used to ride with a leopard skin on the back of his horse. So the Most High God is comparing them to the characteristics of that beast. This beast that is going into what we know today as Greece. It says, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Now, what nation within those 7 nations that I named has a representation of a bear? This is going into Russia. Because when you look, they say Mother Russia, and then they have the bear as their symbol. It says, and the mouth as the mouth of a lion. Now, this is going into Great Britain, because Great Britain's symbol was a lion. It says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. The dragon that is making reference to is Satan, meaning these white people worship Satan. That's why they have control over the planet Earth. The dragon is made reference to Satan in the scriptures. I'm going to read it again. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. This is the same dragon or the Satan that was what? Trying to tempt Christ. He came to Christ, and what did he tell Christ? If you worship me, all these things will I give thee. There's some heavy stuff what we're going into, brothers and sisters. This is the book of Luke, chapter 4. Let me see. Let me get straight to the point. The book of Luke, chapter 4 and verse. Get straight to the point. Verse 5. This is the book of Luke, chapter 4 and verse 5. And the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. This is not a regular man that can do this. Verse 6. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me. Meaning what? God gave Satan that power to give to whoever he wants to if they choose to worship him. God gave him that power. Satan is an employee of the Most High. They're not up there in the third heavens fighting. They get along perfectly because the Most High God sends Christ or sends the devil out there to do what? To do his bidding. That's why it's good and it's evil out there. Choose to whom you want. Whom you ever want to serve, that's whom you going to choose. But me and my family, we going to keep the commandments, man. It says, and the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. So Satan, a lot of people want to know how did the white man get all his power? Because they worship the devil. They are the Edomites that the Bible speaks of, God's hated. The wicked that the Most High God has put on the earth to bring forth these atrocities. But he's also doing what? Raising up the Israelites to combat these things with what? With the word of the Bible. Let's go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 3. And it reads, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. This is making reference to what? To Rome, when it fell in 193 AD from a black man named Septimius Severus. They was destroyed, but they wasn't totally destroyed. They came back into power in what? In 1453, where you had what? Great Britain And what we know today is some of those Caucasian nations rising back up. They took on those philosophies. You had the Catholic Church, still doing what? On the religion side of the war. So you have Roman Catholic Church on the religion side, then you have NATO, which is on the military side of the major Caucasian nations. It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, meaning, where did this beast go? But I'm going to tell you, they sprung back up as America. That's why when you see America, they have some of the same policies and the same ways that the Roman government set up their ways. And we can prove that too. That's why it's very important that you go through the scriptures. Let's go to the book of the Maccabees, show you how they are similar to Rome. America is similar to Rome. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 15. This whole thing is good. It's hard to see where to stop. I want to get straight to the point. This is the book of First Maccabees, but brothers, go back through these things. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 14. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereof. Moreover, how they made for themselves a Senate house. This is going into the Romans when you jump up to verse 1. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept to all that joined themselves unto them. That's what America does today. They willingly love all races that join themselves to come to America. You can worship anything you want to be. You can be a Buddhist. You can worship trees. You can worship Krishna. You can worship all these things. Just come and join ourselves. Come and be in league and in amity with us. It says all that join themselves unto them make a league of amity with all that came unto them. Jumping back over to verse 14. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereof. Moreover, how that they had made for themselves a Senate house. Now, doesn't America have a Senate house today? That's why it says that they are of the beast. That beast that it's talking about is Rome. They have some of the same ways that Rome has set up their government. America has set up their government the same way. It says, moreover, how they made for themselves a Senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily. Now, I think today's in America Senate House, they have like 300 and some. I don't know if it's quite 320, but if brothers and sisters could look that up right quick, let me know. It says, and 20 men sat in council daily, consulted always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered. So America took on Rome's ways so they could what? Order the way orderly. Shalom, shalom, B-Bub. How you doing, brother? It says, and that they committed their government to one man every year. What does this sound like, man? Instead of a president getting what? A president has what? To serve 4 years. They gave it to basically a president every year. So they come together and vote for the person that they want to lead them, letting you know that voting don't do a damn thing for our people because they already know who they want to lead. It's not the president is not picked by the popular vote. It's not, brothers and sisters. That's a news flash. Thanks, brother Yaakov. So they got 100 senators and they got 435 representatives. So they have still taken that same dialogue from that voting. That's exactly right. Thanks, Ox. It says, and they committed their government to one man every year who ruled over all their country. Ain't that what they do today? Joe Biden has, guess what? He's trying to seek out another presidency for another 4 years. He's ruling over them all because guess what? America is the head nation in charge, whether people want to believe it or not. They have the most money and they have the most military might, man. It says, and that they were all obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. Now, the Most High God is turning that upside down now. Now he has them what? Fighting one against another. So you can precept those things all together, Brother Chris. the book of Daniel chapter 7 and the book of Revelations chapter 13 tying into one another. Yeah, that's right. You know, I love history. Sister, I am redeemed. I love history. And I'm going to tell you, history is very important, especially when you get into the Bible. For that notion that our people think that the Bible is a fake book, then you have to go and look up, well, who the hell is Ptolemy? Who the hell is, I know people believe Alexander the Greek. Guess what? He's in the Bible. Let's read about him right quick, because I'm going to show you what they say about him. This is why the so-called white man took this out of the Bible. This thing gets heavy, man. It gets real heavy. We love reading this thing too. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Mede, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So this is when the so-called white man came into power. Alexander the Greek, you seen that movie with Colin Firth? Y'all need to watch that, man, because it's literally showing y'all how they came into power, brothers and sisters. He took down the Persians and Mede, and he basically ruled what they knew as the whole world over there in the Eastern Hemisphere. Let me show you something. Keep reading verse 2. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. Let's jump over. Get to the good points. Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves and did their sons after them many years. And I'm going to jump up to verse 7. I'm skipping around. Verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. So he conquered the whole known world and then he died. He had a short kingdom. He died of syphilis, because even in the movie, you see that he was what? Dealing in homosexuality. It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule everyone in his place. His servants going into his 4 generals: Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucus. Cassander ruled Greece. Lysimachus ruled Asia Minor. Ptolemy ruled Egypt. Seleucus ruled from the Indus River to Egypt. So that was what they knew as the known world. It says, verse 8 again from the top, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, meaning when he died, they divided up his kingdom among themselves. Meaning these are Caucasians ruling over the earth after Alexander died. It says, and after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. So now we see how the so-called white man basically took power over the whole planet earth. I want this part. I want y'all to listen to this part, man. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Think about it, brothers and sisters. It was already evil on the planet earth with the Babylonians and the Persians and Mede. Why did it specify evils during this time? Because the Caucasian race is especially evil, meaning the Most High God literally made them to be the wicked on the planet earth. Meaning when this evil rose up, or this nation, no, this is where real evil started. Think about these things. You have the Crusades. You have us, 1619. You have transatlantic slave trade. You have them destroying China. You have them destroying Africa. You have them dropping the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. No other nation have done the atrocities that the so-called Edomites have done according to the Bible. So these things are very, very pivotal, man. Very pivotal for you to get into the Bible and understand it on a spiritual sense, but you also want to understand it on a historical sense as well, man. Shalom, shalom, Captain Yari. See Ak up in the building, man. That's exactly right. Officer Yaakov in the spirit, man. We got to get that thing. Because this is a question that we always ask our people, man. And our people I'm going to tell you, our people love Massa. We ask them, brother, what race of people is ruling the earth? Oh, I don't know, brother. There's some black people that own some stuff, brother. That ain't what I asked you. I said, what race of people is ruling the earth? Because Negroes know. Stop playing dumb, brother. And all we do is tell them to do what? Take out a dollar bill. Take out a dollar bill and see what face is on the money. And that shows you who this scripture is talking about that we're about to read. that churches don't read. It's not a coincidence that they always want to read you the same scriptures Sunday in, Sunday out, when that is not the day to be going to church on. This is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. And it reads, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So who's ruling the planet Earth? The Bible is saying whoever the earth's hands it is, that's the wicked. So who rules the planet Earth, man? Who rules it, man? I'm going to keep reading. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Meaning, if it's not the so-called white man, who is it? You don't see a Chinese image of Christ floating on the planet Earth. You don't see an East Indian image of Christ floating on the planet Earth. They have whitewashed all the pictures that we had when we was living in Europe during the Dark Ages. That's called iconoclasm or image breaker, meaning where they whitewashed all the images in the Bible, because people say, my God ain't got no color. Brother, you're a damn lie. You ain't read the Bible, brother. It's clearly showing you that Christ is a black man in Revelation chapter 1, verse 14 on down. In the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9, it shows you that God is a black man. Brother, my God ain't got no color. Well, brother, you ain't reading the Bible, brother. Like, it just doesn't make any damn sense, man. We got to stop. I'm going to tell you, Christianity has made blacks and Hispanics dumb as hell. I'm going to tell you just straight up. It made our people dumb as hell to where we don't even think logically or even with common sense. God don't have no color. My Christ ain't got no color. Well, he had to have some color. He walked the earth, right? Like we tell brothers and sisters, only two types of colors on the planet Earth. You got brown people, you got red people, because Caucasians are not white. They're not the color of the top of this book. They don't look like that. If you ever see a white man look like that, you better run like hell, because you're looking at Casper, the friendly ghost. No, they are red. That's why we call them rednecks down south. You know, it's just simple, man. When you come back into the truth of the knowledge of the Bible, Most High God restores your common sense as well, man. That's right. Christianity has tainted the word of God. But that's why it's very pivotal that our brothers and sisters read the Bible. A lot of times our people don't read the Bible, and they damn sure don't read the Bible with a set of spiritual eyes. That's right. I mean, it's just very plain to understand, man. Well, I'll say that, sis, we are the real Christians. A Christian means a follower of Christ. So I'm going to tell you, Christ kept the 7-day Sabbath. He kept Sabbath on Saturday. Well, my God don't care what day I celebrate the Sabbath on. Nigga, that ain't what Christ did. Christ actually did what the Bible says. If the Most High God said that the 7th day of the week is the Sabbath day, what should you be doing? Celebrating on the 7th day of the week. I mean, it's just that plain and simple. We got to learn to stop making excuses, man. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. So what is the 7th day of the week? That's plain. Saturday. So even on that day, you're not supposed to work. You're not supposed to cook. No buying or selling. These are things that Christ did. We are true followers of Christ because we actually did the things that Christ did. Christ kept Passover. Christ didn't keep Christmas. Christ kept the Feast of the Dedication. Christ kept the Feast of Tabernacles. He didn't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. He didn't celebrate New Year's. He didn't celebrate Valentine's Day. He did the laws that God gave him. Let's go to the book of 1 Peter. He gave us an example on what we should do and how we should walk. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Christ left us an example on how we should guide our lives. Christ kept the Sabbath. He wore his fringes. Christ wore a beard. Christ didn't eat unclean food. He didn't eat pork, shrimp, crabs, lobster. How do we know? Let's keep reading. Verse 23, verse 22, who did no sin. Sin is the breaking of God's commandments according to 1 John 3 and 4. So when you read in the book of Leviticus chapter 11, it gives you on your dietary laws, things you can and cannot eat. And that's just simple. When brothers and sisters are trying to make excuses, you're not being a follower of Christ. You see it in the scriptures, you know you can't do it, don't do it. Just keep it simple, man. That's right, we're going to get that next. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, meaning trickery, trying to find a way to get out of keeping God's laws so you can keep being wicked. No, I mean, it's to the point. Let's go to the book of Acts. Well, Officer Yaakov put the book of Acts chapter 11. So we are the true Christians, sis. Book of Acts chapter 11 and verse 26. This is the book of Acts chapter 11 and verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year that they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. Christians is going into what? Being a follower of Christ. Christ means the anointed. So you can actually say that Christians mean the anointed of the Lord. But if you actually being a Christian, you actually doing what Christ did. No ifs and buts about it. Sister Jerry Cooper, I wondered why they have to wait an additional 7 years to do what they did every day. 365 a year, they can print money all day. It's so crazy that this may happen, but so far in the future. That's right. So Christ didn't break the Sabbath. Wicked Christians. We have to say it like that too, man. Yes, and it's supposed to flip your life upside down, sis, because we understand when we came into the truth. The thing is, we think we know how to worship the Most High God without going to the Bible, because we have been taught these things, and these things have been passed on from generation to generation. That's literally where we got Sunday worship from. A lot of people don't even know the history behind it. That goes back to us being in slavery. The only day that we got a day off was Sunday. And the so-called white man put us in the church. And if we wasn't hooting and hollering, looking like we wasn't having a good time, they put our behinds back in the cotton fields. So our people did anything to stay away from that cotton field. And that tradition has been passed down from generation to generation. That's why our people celebrate and worship on Sunday. God never changed that thing. Oh, I worship God every day. Brother, you're supposed to worship him every day, but he literally gave you a specific day to worship him on. So you can't just say, no, this is my Sabbath. No, that's nowhere in the Bible. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 33. Knowing Bruce already know the precept. The book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 7. Why doth one day excel another, when all the light of every day in the year is of the same sun? So God is asking, why does one day excel another? We're going to see why. Verse 8, by the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished, meaning by the commandments of the Most High God, he set a difference. This is my day. The rest of those days y'all can have. Celebrate Passover on this day. The rest of those days of the month y'all can have. Worship me on the Feast of Tabernacles during this time. The rest of those days y'all can have. By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them had he made high days and hollowed them, and some of them had he made ordinary days. Sunday, brothers and sisters, newsflash, is an ordinary day because it was not hallowed by the Most High. Never in the Bible do you see, and we know, I'm going to tell you, this is how much of our people has lost common sense. Whenever we are out there teaching, we always ask our people, what is the first day of the week? And our people always say, what? Monday. We're like, brother, you got the highest iPhone out there is, brother. Google that thing on your damn Google Calendar, brother, and see what the first day of the week is. And they look at themselves like, damn, I'm done. Sunday is the first day of the week. So what would be the seventh day of the week? Saturday. So that's the Sabbath day, because what? The Most High God hallowed the seventh day. He never hallowed the first day. That's what man did. That's what Constantine did. Ezra, Yasharallah, Acts chapter 1, verse 1 through 2. Fake holidays. That's right. Yeah, I had many deceptive ways. That's right. We was all brainwashed by tradition. But now we have to come up out of those things when we come to the scriptures. I apologize, Captain. I was talking about someone that was going, they was going to put Harriet Tubman on the face on a $20 bill. I hope they don't do it. Don't put our sister on that damn money. Don't even put it on there. A lot of times, I'm going to tell you, our people are so destroyed. They think because we get that money. And Esau does that to be crafty, because don't think he don't listen to us when we bring up these talking points. Well, you know who ruled the world, pull out of money. So if you pull out that money, you see her face on there, you can't say that we don't rule the world no more, because it's a black woman face on the money. Stop playing, man. Just stop the games, Esau. That's why I hope that they don't do it, man, because our people literally have to be taught like babes and taught common sense to ourselves by using the Bible. Because if we don't understand. Our people, we don't understand. We in the matrix. What you mean by that? Shame, Shamik 1K. What you mean by that? All praise, sis. Sis said, hey, sis, it's not as hard as you think, sis. I know I am redeemed. Sister said, all praises, but letting my pants go is hard because I work in the medical field. I'm going to tell you, it ain't hard, sis, because guess what? My wife do too, sis. And she asked him, could she wear her dresses? And guess what they said? Yes, she could. So I'm going to tell you, sister, I am redeemed. When you keeping the commandments, the Most High God make even our enemies be at peace with us, sis. So now my wife wear her dresses every day, even at work. And that lets you know how destroyed our people is. You would ask a sister, don't you feel more feminine in a dress? Sisters look at you like you got some stuff on you. No. Like, sister, pants was made to show the curvature of your shape. That brings brothers to lust. Then you get mad when you being catcalled for dressing like that. The shape of your body is only for your husband, So just ask them, sis, because he makes our enemies be at peace with us. What brother got that precept, or sister? I forget that precept at times. That's why we be on ourselves. I have to strengthen my memory in that aspect. Who got the precept? Make even our enemies be at peace with us. No, it's in the book of Proverbs. Who got the precept? I know y'all ain't gonna make me Google it, man. One of my brews can't help me out, man. Guess I got to Google that thing, man. All praise, Brother Donovan, man. Come through like a Uzi, man. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 7. And it reads, when a man's ways please the Lord, he make even his enemies to be at peace with them. So, sis, if you're trying to keep the commandments, the Most High God could put it on their spirit that you do what? That they'll allow you to wear a dress, sis. So you'll be able to keep God's commandments, sis. We understand for certain sisters that work in certain environments where they just cannot absolutely wear pants. We understand that. But when you get home, get out of those pants, get into a long, modest dress according to what the scriptures say. And we're not just making this up, brothers and sisters. The scriptures literally say and tell brothers and sisters of Israel how to dress, man. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. What article of clothing do women wear that pertains to men? Pants. And we're going to get other scriptures to prove it. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. So we all know what a woman's garment is. A woman's garment is a dress. For all that do so is an abomination unto the Lord thy God. So people ask, God ain't going to kill me for wearing no dress or that I wear pants. Brother, God's thoughts are not your thoughts. Sister, God's thoughts is not the way that you think, man. These things, guess what, will bring judgment on you, because I'm going to tell you, when a man puts on a dress, it does what? It puts an effeminate spirit on him, whether they want to admit it or not. We see brothers that wear a dress. What kind of spirit do they have? They have a homosexual and effeminate spirit. So it's the opposite of that. So when women wear pants, they're what? They have a masculine spirit on them. Even going back to that saying where we was brought up on, he who wears the pants, what? Rules the house. And 9 times out of 10, the woman, if she's not in this truth, she's ruling her house, man. It is just that simple. That's right. What was he asking about? 23? Oh, 23 and 2. It must have been something I missed. It must be way up there or something. Yeah, it should humble. You know, that's what this truth is for, to humble our people, to get them to understand their wrongs and to get them to change the way that they do. You know, I said all the time, I used to sell drugs, you know, smoke weed, you know, do all these things, you know, but how can I teach my people these things if I'm dealing in that? Because that's the first thing that people will bring up. Well, nigga, you smoke weed. Well, nigga, you shacking up with your wife. Y'all ain't married legally, you know, so you must humble yourself and get these things in order so that you can be profitable to your people. So I no longer do those things that I did to show people that I'm serious about keeping the commandments, about understanding my nationality. You want to make sure you get these things in right. Any other questions before we get up out of here? What was he wanting to know on that? Deuteronomy 23. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, all those lands is ours. The land of Israel, according to the scriptures, is from the river Nile to the Euphrates. All of that is the land of Israel that the Most High God gave the children of Israel. And we're going to prove that thing too. It's not just that little small place that you see on the map that they have today. Chris Jones, they did not wear pants in Yeshua's day. Thought they did. They wore tunics, right? Now, and I'm glad you brought me back to my point. You're in the spirit, Brother Chris, because I forgot my point. But now we're going to go back to them to show brothers and sisters that guess what? Who wore the pants? Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 28 and verse 41. You're in the spirit for that, because I literally just forgot the thought when it changed subjects. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 28 and verse 41. And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother and his sons with him, and thou shalt anoint them and consecrate them and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. What did that old saying your papa or your grandmother used to say back in the day? Boy, pull up them breeches. Guess what? They were saying this in their times too. This were breeches being made during our time, because when the Most High God brought us out of the hand of the Egyptians, we had to come up out of their customs, their ways, the way that they dressed. Egyptians literally wore what they would call like the skirts, but they would never have any underwear up under them. Now the Most High God said, no, we have to put breeches on to cover our nakedness. All praise, sister, in the spirit, sis. You know, it's literally telling us that guess what? We must men wear the breeches. You don't read where it says upon Aaron and thy daughters. He had daughters. You only see upon Aaron thy brother and his sons. So breeches, pants were made for the man. Hebrew, if you don't mind, Cap, could you briefly explain Job being a non-Israelite before his reincarnation? If I'm not mistaken, it was mentioned on the Sabbath. So yes. So the thing is, I know even with Bruce, we was talking about this in Camp 101. I know many Caucasians or Edomites today think that Job was an Edomite. You know, some Israelite camps teach that as well. You know, that's right. Egyptians, yeah, that's right. I know Brother Donovan put another precept in there as well. But they teach that Job was an Edomite. But it's certain key points in her that lead us otherwise. This is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. So it's two thoughts on these brothers and sisters. We see even in there that he was perfect. We know what? Only Israelites are perfect when we're what? Keeping the commandments according to Psalms 19 and 7. So the thought is, we just literally go by what the text say, but you can extrapolate out of the text that Job was of the chosen lineage. The Most High God literally had a chosen lineage to get to the nation of Israel. So even when you read in the book of Luke, the Most High God is literally showing you that chosen generation that he was dealing with. So when the Most High God created Adam, Adam was chosen to keep the commandments. Then you had Abel. Abel was chosen, but Cain killed Abel. Then they had Seth. Seth was chosen to keep the commandments. Then it goes down from Seth to Noah. Noah was chosen to keep the commandments. Out of Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, God only chose Shem. Then after Shem, we can go into what? Some of the known people. You got Abraham. After Abraham, you went into what? Isaac. Then into Isaac, you went into Jacob. Then into Jacob, you went into what? To the Israelites. God always has a chosen lineage that he dealt with until he made the nation of Israel. So we see in the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 1, there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright and one that feared God and eschewed evil. So we see that what? He was upright according to the Most High. Let me jump down. What do I want? Let's get straight to the point. Let's go over to Job chapter 19, what we covered yesterday. So this is why we say Job is coming back in the regeneration as an Israelite. This is the book of Job, because the Israelites are still here. We here now. This is the book of Job, chapter 19, verse 25. This is something you can precept this with, brother. It says, "For I know that my Redeemer liveth." Who is Christ coming back to redeem? So the key word that you want in there, my Redeemer. So let's go through the many precepts that we have for redeem. Let's just go through them and see who is the redeemed of the Lord and Yahushua. Let's just go through them. Give me one. One of our known common precepts. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68. Let's see if all races are redeemed of God. Because when we read these scriptures, Christians reject them. Or they get quiet as hell and don't want to say nothing, or try to find another scripture that try to contradict this scripture. This is the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68. "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people, and had raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we," meaning the Israelites, "should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us." So Israel is the one being redeemed. Let's get some more precepts. If that's not enough, go to the book of 2 Samuel. I love this precept. 2 Samuel. On 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 23. This is the book of 2 Samuel. So we went from the New Testament to the Old. This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 23. "And what nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel, whom God went to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for thy land before thy people, which thou redeemest to them from Egypt, from the nations and their gods." So we see that who? The redeemed is Israel. Let's get some more. Let's go to the book of Exodus. Chapter 13 and verse 15. Literally showing you precepts of who the redeemed is. If it's other nations that can be redeemed, please put it in the chat, man. We'll believe it. We don't believe it because it's not in the Bible. The word redeem is referenced over 150 times in the Bible, and in each case is reference to Israel being the redeemed, man. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 15. And it reads, I'm going to start at verse 12. "That thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix." The matrix is making reference to the womb. It says, "And every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the male shall be the Lord's, and every firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb. And if thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break his neck. And all the firstborn of man among thy children shalt thou redeem." So we see even during this time, the Most High God only redeemed Israel for a people unto himself. Jump down to verse 15. "And it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land." Wait a minute. He killed all the Egyptians. I thought God loved everybody. So why in the hell did he kill all the Egyptians if he loved everybody? It makes no sense, brothers and sisters. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all that openeth the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. So even during this time, the Most High God have always redeemed the children of Israel. So now let's go back to the book of Job, chapter 19, verse 25. So we pull these precepts to show you in every context that redeemed is being who? Known as the Israelites. This is the book of Job, chapter 19, verse 25. For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. So Job is prophesying Christ is coming back. Verse 26. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, meaning Job is letting us know after he died, meaning the Job that wrote this book, that lived in this time when the book of Job was written, he's letting us know that he was going to die. He says, and though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh I shall see God. Now, what God is this making reference to? It's not the Most High God, because that's what we extensively went over. No man can see God and live. This is talking about Christ, the God, because you have the Most High God, the Father God, you have the Son that's a God, and you have what Israelites we're considered gods. God's is just going into Judges. He says, yet in my flesh I shall see God, meaning what? He's prophesying in the latter days he's going to see Christ when he comes back on the earth, brothers and sisters. This is what this goes into. Verse 27, whom I shall see for myself, meaning it's going to be me in a different body, but with that same spirit. I'm going to see Christ, man. It says, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another, meaning it's not going to be another spirit. It's going to be me. I'm coming back in the end times to what? See the destruction that Christ is coming to bring. Though my reins be consumed within me. So we see these things. Let's jump over. That's all I want on it. So you see that? I don't even put them in there. Shalom, shalom, Dexter, Dexter. How you doing, Yeah, and the rest were made slaves. So I mean, what does it matter? You know, he killed we said the firstborn of all the Egyptians. So it wasn't one Egyptian out of a family that didn't die. So yeah, we understand that. Esau. So Vince asked us stop being angry. We're not angry, are we? Let's see what the Bible says, man. Let's say it's literally a scripture for everything that y'all want to combat. What brother know what precept we're gonna go to? I know he ain't pulled this precept in a while. What precept? Oh yeah, we don't give a damn, sis. We want him to go on a spree. What precept? Be angry. Damn, I just lost my thought. Be angry. What precept? Brother Donovan, what I'm looking for? It's in Proverbs. Damn, I just had the book of Ecclesiastes, all praise. Most High God, bring that thing back, man. Just to cut Esau behind. Hold up. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. That's another good one too. Thanks, Captain Yara. I want that one too. Be ye angry and sin not, brothers in the spirit. But I really wanted this, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7, because it's saying, don't be mad. The Bible says if you're a wise man, you would be mad. When I'm seeing my people persecuting by the other nations, when we see our people persecuted by our own selves, that makes me angry. Why wouldn't we be angry when we see the conditions of our people? When we go downtown, we see all the brothers and sisters that are bugged out of their mind. That makes me angry, man, because I know that our people have been destroyed because we don't keep the commandments. The Most High God literally said, by us not keeping the commandments, he makes people go crazy out there. God don't make nobody go crazy. Brother, it's written in the law, brother. That's what it said. Brothers ain't read the book. My God don't do that. Brother, yes, your God. Well, your God ain't the God of this Bible, because God will jack you up when you don't do what he tells you. It's just like with a father and a son. When your children don't do what you tell them to, are you going to keep giving them things? Are you going to keep blessing them? No, you're going to get on their behinds. That's what we're doing to God. We are his children and we're not following his rules, so he is punishing us. And it's just that simple. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So if brothers and sisters are not mad out of here, something is wrong with you, man. Go into the New Testament. Let's go to the book of Ephesians. Most High God wanted us to remember that to cut Esau behind, man. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So each time you make a comment, we literally just use the scriptures to go at it. Man, shut the, now you say dumb stuff like this. I mean, it's just, I'm gonna tell you, it'd be hilarious, man. Y'all are definitely not oppressed. Yeah, I'll say so, because guess what? We're not speaking our own language. We have the last names of our oppressors. Guess what? Our people don't make any laws. Think about it. Even the certain congresswomen, I'll say that to a degree, because even my wife was showing me where they were passing laws till now we can wear our natural hair in certain places. You know, so we have certain things to a degree, but the Most High God gave the whole planet Earth to the Israelites. That's nothing but crumbs and nippets, man, compared to what we was promised, man. We want it all and we want it back, man. Talking about those little crumbs, man. This dude got to be out of his damn mind, man. Let's show him, guess what, that the whole planet Earth and the people belongs to the Israelites. One of our favorite chapters, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 54. And it reads, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So we know that, guess what, all races come of Adam, but God has a chosen race out of all those people that come from Adam. That's what he's saying here. Verse 55, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. That's what makes us mad, because our people don't understand that the whole planet Earth and the inhabitants of it, the fullness of it was made for the Israelites' sake. We didn't say that. That's what the Bible say. I'm going to read it again. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, meaning what? All the other races that come up out of Adam, the Chinese, the Japanese, the East Indian, the African man, and the white man. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing. I ain't gonna lie, when I first read this, when coming into the truth, this thing sent chills down my spine. Because this literally is the scripture literally showing you that God doesn't love everybody, like how people think. We'll read this to brothers and they'll be like, I don't believe that. Like, brother, do you believe the Bible? Now, what's that book? That ain't the Bible. Then we'll pull a book, a King James 1611, where it literally has the Apocrypha in there, and they still won't believe it. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. Not only did God call the other races nothing, he said that they are like spit. So that spit, that loogie that you spitting out, that's what God compares them to. This may be too hard for certain people, man, because our people, what, they don't read as it is, let alone hearing this coming from the Most High God. You probably have a brother or sister falling out. Not my God, not my Jesus. Yes, Sister Betty, yo Jesus. This is how he thinks about the other nations. As for the other people, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So God is saying you can gather all the races up outside of the Israelites. You have a big bucket of water, and if you drop that drop, do you care about that drop? No. That's what the Most High God says, how he feels about the other nations. It says, and the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So Ezra is going to ask them, and now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which has ever been reputed as nothing, meaning they have always had a reputation of being nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. So why in the hell wouldn't we be mad? Ezra was mad during this time, and this brother was a righteous brother, and he was mad. So who are you to say that we shouldn't be mad because of the conditions of our people, saying that we're not oppressed? Yes, we are. Only people with privilege can't see those things. And that's the point. Because you may bring all the facts that you want to Caucasians, they ain't trying to hear it or see it. And the coon of our people too. Like we say, the ones that's doing good, but what about your people that's not doing good? Because you don't rise above the estate of your people. I'm gonna tell you, Oprah Winfrey found that out. Remember, she's a billionaire, and she took her behind over there to Switzerland trying to shop up in them stores. She got a nigga wake-up call. Nigga, get your black behind up out of here. So just because you have that money, they still see you as that, because ultimately the other nations know that we are God's chosen people, man. You know, we just don't know we God's chosen people, meaning the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Kept what back, but it was optional. No, that's not what they're saying. You, Esau, and I don't expect you to understand it. You don't understand. That's not saying that you buy forgiveness with silver. You know, and I'm not going to even break it down to you. Just let you be dumb and let you think that. So that's not what that's talking about. That's exactly right. We can go on and on, brother Dexter. I mean, come on, man. He talking about he kept it, but it was optional. So Vince literally just added to the text, showing the scriptures where it said that that was optional. Man, stop it, man. People is hell, man. I'm talking about Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And the word devil means deceiver. What nation of people is deceiving our people? We can't be done. Talking about that's optional. Show us in the scriptures where that was optional. Because it also goes back to what? 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. Christ left us an example on things we should follow, to follow his steps. So Christ would have said, oh, I kept the dedication, Israel, but it was optional. Christ didn't say no such thing. So it's not optional. Get the hell out of here. There are Hebrew scriptures for Second Ezra. There are Hebrew scriptures. Go into the Textus Receptus, even when you go into the, like we say, not the Dead Sea Scrolls, but the Codex Sinaiticus. But I'm going to tell you, you don't want to play with me, man. Like, stop it, man. I mean, we literally have been learning about these things. You got the Codex Sinaiticus, meaning the books of Sinai. Like, we study these things, man. So stop playing. You got the Latin Vulgate. I mean, stop it. Stop it. Just stop. Stop, man. Esau don't have. Well, Vince is saying if all races come from Adam, then why do black Hebrew Israelites call my people cavemen? Because y'all literally were the cavemen. But y'all weren't cavemen millions of years ago. Y'all was cavemen in the Dark Ages. After Rome fell, that's when Israelites rolled back up. But we rose up as the Moors to rule places like Europe. That's when y'all did become the cavemen. When you're reading the book of Job. So I'm gonna tell y'all, that's why we have Esau on here. We know more of his history than he do. When you read the book of Job, the Most High God is literally explaining to when y'all were cavemen, and it wasn't millions of years ago. Let's go to the book of Job. This is the book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to set with the dogs of my flocks. So even Job said he didn't even have his dogs out there with Esau, man. They that are younger than I, and I'm going to tell you, this is a heavy scripture too, letting you know. It was talking about Jacob and Esau. Because guess what? Jacob is the one that the Most High God chose. He didn't choose Esau. It says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, meaning have our people in confusion, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flocks. Meaning Job wouldn't even have his dogs out there with Esau. They'd be out there trying to do something to the dogs, man. Y'all know how they get down. And this is just not us making stuff up, man. You hear stuff about this all the time. Like, come on, brothers and sisters, stop playing. Verse 2, yea, whereto might their strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former times, desolate and waste. Meaning what? The word Caucasian comes from what? The Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. Esau, the so-called white man, dwelt in what we know today as the Middle East, in the land of Edom, meaning the land before the land below the land of Judah. But during Job's time, they were so wicked, we pushed them to the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. We had to get rid of them. And Job is going to say it. It says, yea, whereto might their strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, meaning no nations dealt with them, man. It says, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat, meaning they ate the trashes of food like animals. It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, meaning we chased Esau like he had stole something, man. That's how they got pushed to the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. They not originally from there, brothers and sisters. That's a notion of that too. No, they're from over there where we stay. But then we pushed them there, and that's where they dwelt for a long time until they came back into power. It says, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the rocks, in the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. What nation of people is known for dwelling in caves? When you look these things up, and I'm gonna tell you, even on that movie Fast and Furious, the like the ninth one or the eighth one, there's so many of them damn things. When they had the cars parachute into the Caucasus Mountains, that's where they stay. You literally see those mountains, and you literally see in those mountains where they have the caves. Esau loves living in the mountains because guess what? They're up high as predators looking down upon the prey. That's why their signs or their animals are the eagle, because the eagle is a bird of prey. It looks down up high and swoops down and takes whatever it wants. That's why they love those high-rise buildings downtown. Black people don't like being in them damn buildings. What if a fire break up on the 31st? Brother, I don't even like moving to the third floor of an apartment building, let alone the 50th floor. Come on, man. Verse 6 again from the top, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they braid. Do y'all know what that means? Among the bushes they braid. I know Priest Alazar, our brother, shout out to that brother from Sakari. This is what this means. Even when y'all look this up, I got to be able to link this up to show y'all this. In caves amongst these other hunting and strutting. I have to show y'all this. It's this clip of these inbred people, Caucasians, in that stay. They actually live in the countryside of Virginia. Y'all have to look into that, and you see how they always kind of braid. They braid like cavemen. That's what braid among the bushes mean. It says under the nettles they were gathered together, meaning what? Cuddled in amongst themselves among the campfires in those caves. It says they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. That's why I literally read in the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11, when they rose up into power, then the Most High God said evils were multiplied in the earth. Think about it. It was already people killing people. No, he said when they rose up as a nation of people, that was real evil on the planet Earth, man. Letting you know how vile they were. It says They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now I'm their song. Meaning what? We was after them, chasing them. Now they after us. Now we their song. Now they persecute. Now they mock us. It says, I am their byword. We're no longer called what? The tribe of Judah, African Americans. We're called African Americans. We're even called nigger, like how Vince put it in the chat, showing you who he is. He the only one that come over and call us these things, man. It says, now we are their byword. That's why I let these things stay in the chat, man. It says, they abhor me. They flee far from me and spare not to spit in my face. You done seen many accounts of white people spitting on our people. You seen that white lady, that old white lady that spit in that black sister face. Boy, she beat her to a pulp. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's literally what they do, because now they have the upper hand up on us now. So we literally see that, guess what? Y'all do come from the cave. This is where y'all were cavemen. I said, we don't even want to get started on the scriptures. Yeah, that inbred family. That's exactly right, Sister Mariah. That's right. It says Vince is a Philippine, then he will be of the tribe of Japheth, one of those tribes. Either way, he will be of the tribe of Moab or Ammon, or he will be of the tribe of Japheth, because Japheth was scattered to the islands abroad. So we know, like the Hawaiians, they will be considered Japheth, of the tribe of Japheth, of a tribe. We don't know the specific tribe. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 5. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 5. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided into their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families in their nations. So we see that what the Gentiles is making reference to the nations. These nations specifically, when you read verse 2, the sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog and Maddah and Javan. Javan is the ancient name for Greece. And Tubal and Meshach. Meshach and Tubal is making reference to ancient Russia. It says, and Tyrus and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. This is why a lot of times people think Ashkenaz, the Ashkenazi Jews are Japheth. No. Just like the so-called white man took that name from Japheth, like they take every damn thing else, they stole also a part of their nationality from Japheth. When the Most High God destroyed the earth by the flood, remember, he used Noah's 3 sons to repopulate the earth. He gave Japheth what we know today as Europe. Japheth was black. He had brown skin. He gave Shem what we know today as the Middle East, and he gave Ham what we know as Africa. So of those 3 sons that repopulated the whole earth, Japheth dwelt in Europe for a long time. They were black people. The original Greeks are black. But then during the time of Alexander the Greek, during the time of his father, Philip, what we read in the book of First Maccabees, they came and destroyed them. Greece had a time period of what you would call the Dark Ages as well. The Dark Ages of Greece, meaning when the so-called white man came into Greece and guess what? Destroyed it and took that land over. That's the book that I got to get. Oh, I just remember that too. The Dark Ages of Greece, where it's literally showing you that the original Greeks were black until the so-called white man came into that land and destroyed them, then took their nationality. That's literally how they had gotten a hold of Europe, or what we know today too as well. Yeah, why would you even put that in there? Yeah, we bet we can have him, but guess what? All 3 brothers was brown, because the only time you see color changes is when Genesis chapter 25 and 25 with Esau. So all races from the time of Genesis chapter 1 to Genesis chapter 25 were people that had melanated skin. The original Chinese were people had brown skin. Doesn't mean they were black people. This is the understanding, black people or Israelites. Every time you see somebody with brown skin, don't mean that they are our race. All races originally had brown skin except for the so-called white man. They the only race that didn't get any melanin because that's a curse from the Most High God. They are called what you would call a leper or leprosy. And it goes back from there, from Cain being punished through Cain's generation. So Shem, Ham, and Japheth all were brown skin or had melanin. So now that doesn't make any sense. And even in the Zondervan, it literally tell you that Ham are not the father of the Negroes. So, I mean, we can go on and so on. And we using white people books to discredit white people. That's what's so funny about it, man. That thing be hilarious. The Most High God calls white folks to fall on their own lips. Because a lot of times our people won't believe us when we say it because we look like them. Nigga, I ain't believing you. Nigga, you look like me. Why would I believe you and you black like me? Nigga, I hate your black lips or shit your black lips. But then when you get Esau saying it, they'll believe it. So the Most High God has to use them to make our people believe sometime. So we don't have any other questions, brothers and sisters. Remember, we got Tabernacles coming up. We got New Moon coming up. We got the memorial blowing of trumpets. Make sure that brothers and sisters are making preparations to keep the Feast of the Tabernacles. Man, I'm going to tell y'all, man, the Feast of Tabernacles is a great feast. We go out there and have a good time. Before I got into the truth, I never even went camping. Now that to show that is a part of our heritage, where we go out there and do that for a memorial when we were brought out of Egypt. We had to dwell in tents in the wilderness. Guess what we're doing there right now? You know, practicing dwelling in tents in the wilderness, because America is a wilderness, meaning what? There's no borders, all type of manner of wickedness and sin running rapid. You know, so we see these things. So we want brothers and sisters to make preparations to celebrate these things. If you're trying to come out and celebrate with the Battle Axes in our headquarters, Dallas, reach out to the captains, call us, because like we say, it's $100 for families, $80 for singles. We already have the campsite. We already have the campgrounds that we're going to be at, doing those things for food. You know, want to make sure brothers and sisters have things that we are going to eat and all that. It takes care of all that. So, but personal things that you will want is good also to bring. I know sisters have it in the chat that we'll put online. Things that you should have: sleeping bag, a tent, you know, other things that kind of make you comfortable out there. Look at it. Esau here. Boy, they crack me up. Yeah. Man, you got books that's written by white people, but then you have white people when they don't like when they're saying that. Nah, that thing ain't credible, man. Don't white people ain't real. That's crazy as hell. Talking about the Zondervan ain't credible. I mean, hey man, it's pretty credible. It just don't agree with what you think about us. That's all that is. He said, why y'all even use the Zondervan? Throw it away. I bet you want to throw it away. And we know it's credible because I'm pretty sure they're in the makings trying to make a new Zondervan that kind of goes against their definition that they already had. You know, that thing be hilarious to me. Jose Andres, why are you afraid to call me a spick? You trying to insinuate on wealth, or what kind of insult is that? Yeah, hey, I'm going to tell you, brother Jose, hey, that's a byword. And all he's doing is making the Bible true. Look at that, brother Officer Yaakov. We channeling what was that old man? Drinking juice in the hood. Who was the one that said it though? I hate my gums because they black. So he all burned it back. Thanks, but say Esau hell, man. Esau is hell, man. But like we said, brothers and sisters have any questions. Sister Jerry Cooper, I know you had put a comment in the section yesterday about your daughter. That was kind of like a personal question. So I would ask you just to call and kind of get counsel on that about her having another race for a baby father. You know, kind of call us on that, sis. Yeah, he do. Because I'm going to tell you, they know it's the truth. Because or else they wouldn't be in her. All praises, sis. So sure, I'm gonna tell you, shoot, the campsite will be out there in there. Just reach in touch, get in touch with me. Because I'll be the one taking over the money or whatnot. So make sure that you do reach out to me, sis, after we get off the chat or whatnot. Get in touch so we can get that. You can just cash app it. Make sure you have your tent. Make sure you have all these things that you need. Yeah, we know, Vince. All praises. That's what we're here for. Always opening up the section for questions and answers. Going over the diaspora and the diaspora. There's many other precepts. John 7:35. You got Acts chapter 2, verse 5. There's many other precepts that we can go. All praises, sis. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, well, we get clarity on that. No, we don't worship the manure. We're not bowing down to it. That's what worship is. Well, yeah, +1, but let us kind of know who that +1 is, because we want to make sure that these people are in the truth too. That's why we kind of reach out to us, sis, so we can talk, make sure that, these people are in the walk, what's expected when brothers and sisters come out there. Sister, I am redeemed. So just reach out to us, sis. We'll talk about that. Like we said, brothers and sisters are trying to bring family. It will be 100, but brothers better make sure, sisters better make sure, like I said, we're in order when we're out there, and that you're literally trying to keep these commandments. Yeah, that's right, sis. Yeah. Shalom to brothers and sisters that are on Facebook. Shalom to brothers and sisters that are online. We always tell brothers and sisters to keep the commandments of the Most High God. So we always love to end with a commandment. Let's go back to the book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. Meaning, if it's brothers or sisters that you don't necessarily get along with, guess what? You still are commanded to help brothers and sisters out. You're still commanded on these things, brothers and sisters, man. That helps build us as a nation of people. It helps us to be patient with one another, because, us as black people, we lose patience, especially when it comes to our race of people. We have all the patience in the world for the other nations that hate our damn guts, but when it comes to our people, we lose patience. Now, I'm not going to lie. Some things have been encouraging, like we see the brawl that happened in Montgomery, Alabama, with brothers coming to that old elderly brother's aid to help defend their brother. Then even showing things where the elderly woman, they helped the young brothers helped her. So we see certain spurts of our people, that they want to do good, but you want to make sure that you're trying to do good according to the scriptures. That's what doing good is, according to Romans chapter 7 and verse 12. Doing good is keeping the commandments, and there's no way that you can put your own spin on it, So those things are encouraging in some aspects. We don't totally just go totally off on all our people, So when we see great things that are being done, we do let our people know, but we want our people to get into this truth and keep these commandments so we can get the hell up out of here. Lord, I'm tired of working. Tired of seeing our brothers and sisters suffering. It flexes my spirit, the amount of young people that we see downtown, whether they done ran away, whether they don't have any family structure. If it's not young people that are out there on the streets, we see the elderly that are literally bugged out of their damn minds. And those things hurt. I'm not going to even lie. You feel some type of way when you see that after teaching our people out there on the streets. But that's what we're commanded, to help one another, even if you don't get along with a particular brother or sister. We're talking about brothers and sisters that are in camps. If you're not doing these things, you will be judged. It's just simple. You will be judged. It says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. We don't follow a multitude to do evil. Jumping down to verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. I mean, if you seen your brother stranded on the side of the highway and you ride by, you see him and don't stop and try to help, that's wicked as hell. It's just straight wicked. Verse 5. If thou see the ass of him that hated thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with them. Meaning, if you seeing our brothers and sisters going through hardship, I'm gonna tell you, you're commanded to help. Because the point would be, that's why regeneration is so heavy. I'm gonna do a class on that too next time I'm up, because we have to bring in this point. Regeneration is so heavy because you never know who you're doing that wickedness to. Let's think about it. You could be doing that to Father Abraham. You could be doing that wickedness to Father Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. You could be doing that to Father Isaac, man, or to Isaiah, or to Jeremiah, or to Ezekiel, or to Peter, or to John. You could be doing that to those people. That's why it's very important to help and to follow the commandments according to the Bible, man, because you never knew who that spirit was in the past. So with that, something for brothers and sisters to meditate on, how to move differently during the week. You know what I'm saying? With that, we give all honor and praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Shalom to you, brothers and sisters online. Share and like this video, man. Help us push this truth, man. That's how sisters can help. Y'all help by sharing the videos, because you never know when you share this video who is in your live that may click on the video and it may compel them to come into this truth. That's how sisters can help put in the work. That's how brothers that can help put in the work. We got brews out there. We're trying to set up these particular camps in these different areas. Got brother Dexter that's in Atlanta. Got brothers that's in California. Got brothers that's in Minnesota. We got these brothers. Shalom, Brother Tony. We got these brothers that are out there, man. We praying for the laborers too, man, that the Most High God can establish different battle axe places in these cities, so people can be bid to the marriage, And with that, we say shalom.